of level set to progress of instead of 2.5. So it will be going a little bit. They'll be a little bit stronger than normal. HP is set at party average 1.5, and this will make it very
Rough and running.
interesting. Oh, it looks like we are starting. And we have a Gal, Celis, Egner start.
Celis, that's my girl.
I see a Blitz and a slot, so there's a lot of good options to start with.
And Jack has yet to start on his screen here.
Hopefully that is a delay. He'll get synced up
Yeah.
in a minute. And all three runners elect to do World Balance. Narsh first.
Yep, and all going for the treasure room.
Yep.
Let me know, everybody in chat, if this is a little bit better. I did raise my mic a little more on my end. See if that's any good. If not, I'll raise up some more for everybody.
It sounds a lot louder from my end, at least. So
okay, it sounds better from your end. All right.
Yeah.
All right, there we go. Jack's running. He's just giving everybody a head start, you know. That's just Jack, you know.
Just giving everyone a little handicap.
So look at this. Jack, late start, says, you know what? I want a late start with everybody every run. I'm going to go to South Figaro instead.
Everyone starts a little bit different. Narsh, has a treasure room, but it can be a little bit slower. But you just start right there, where South Figaro has the biggest the closest density of treasure, and so we do see some runners bolt right there. Some go right to returners. Some people like to save Narsh until they have a Terra or a Mog, and kind of so they don't have to double dip. And so it's kind of interesting seeing one person start completely different than the other three.
Or even triple dip in some cases too. And we also by going straight to South Figaro, you got that free check with Celeste that you can definitely get that character or that Magicite right off the back, or Esper rather, that you get right off the back, so you can start learning spells right from the get-go in your first battle.
Right. Unfortunately, with progress scaling at 2.5, they do have to be a little worried about their free checks early on. One is probably not going to be a big deal, but doing more than one free check could result in bosses getting quite outside of their level range, which could make it challenging, without grinding to get past some of the early bosses.
Definitely. We've definitely gotten random places on the map now. We got one in Narsh, one in the Returner's Cave. Jack is still doing South Figaro, and Jack is in South Figaro. Jav is now doing Figaro Castle.
Yeah, which is something you normally don't see Figaro Castle early, but it is a free check, and Jax picked up an Atma weapon there, which Atma weapon is one of the bigger changes in this new update. If you would, if you want to explain that, Saber.
Sorry, what was that again? I was looking to see if I figure what Edgar was. The Edgar check was.
Oh, it was Atma weapon was the Edgar check.
Okay, yeah. But what was the question again?
Oh, do you know what the changes in the new update for Atma weapon are?
Yeah, I saw that earlier. I don't remember at the top of my head. The some of the percentages of not just based on health now. It was based on something else. I can't remember.
It's still health. The way the formula works, I believe it's divided by like 60 or 62 normally, and that now is divided in half. So basically after level 31, you start doing more damage with Atma weapon, so it becomes more viable in the late game. And that is an optional flag you can now enable called Better Atma Weapon, which is something we turned off for this race.
Yeah, I think that would also be better in maybe future patches. Like, again, some of these stuff that we're trying is for maybe future patches to improve. Constantly trying to improve this because we're still in 0.9, not 1.0. And Atma Weapon was one of the weapons you're like, yes, I got Atma Weapon. But I'm not really ever going to use it because I'm not going to get enough HP or levels to actually use the thing. So it's like, it's kind of almost like a dead weapon in some cases. Some cases, not in the longer patches, the longer flags that we have, rather. But
right, it was surprisingly disappointing for something in vanilla, which had a lot of it was pretty infamous for being one of the better weapons. And that was one reason we made that change, because the community wanted to play around with it more and have a bit more options for end game builds.
Yep, and we have Edgar channeling his inner brother with the Blitz in the first battle. I think it's the first battle we've had so far.
Yeah, with progress at 2.5, Jack is probably looking to take a few early levels to get ahead of scaling. Meanwhile, Zelfer elects to do South Figure World of Ruin, something I was wondering if our runners were if anyone was going to attempt that. With an Edgar start, World of Ruin becomes very interesting because all shops are half price in both South Figaro Castle and South Figaro, or Figaro Castle and South Figaro in the World of Ruin only.
And immediately cashing in on that with earrings right off the back with the half price.
One of the best filler relics. 2 earrings will increase a character's magic power by 50%. A huge damage increase in this game. Can't go wrong with them.
No, definitely not. Especially when you have pretty decent magic users with Celeste and Gao. Gao's kind of like just kind of a jack of all trades, master of none when it comes to stats, really. Because of the broad range he has with his rages. He's generally a good all-around person. So
Right, and I believe I saw on one of the characters I saw natural magic with at least X-Zone right now, but all
yeah.
all characters will actually have natural magic in this run because we have churned scan on for all characters, which is something we've never really done before.
I'm just scanning through what everybody's at right now. We got some Valdout work going with Jev right now. Well, that's the Lobo right off the bat because I don't think he's had any battles, so it defaults to the Lobo, and there's your Sabin.
Yeah. Quick, early fourth character. Sabin has a whole bunch of checks, really giving Jack a lot of options of what to do after this. A lot of quick checks that is very easy to knock out.
Genji armor available for sale, and everybody's favorite.
And the titanium, which I believe is the imp helmet. I think. I actually don't know too much about imps. It's a fun but quirky.
Oh yeah, it's a very quirky build, but I can deal a pretty fair amount of damage, especially if you have jump on the person, because they have that the special spear that, and spears do an extra 1.5%. 1.5 times damage when you jump versus regular attacks, so regular sword or whatever. So,
especially if one of them can find a there's the Imp's Halberd and
there you go.
But if one of our runners can find a dragon horn, that's always an option. But one you don't see too often.
Yep. So what you need is somebody to turn to imp. If you don't have natural jump, you get the dragon horn and you get the dragoon boots. Basically, turn into a dragoon that will multiple jumps, and then you outfit them with the armor.
It looks like Jack is doing the Opera House check, a pretty good check early on because of the fixed encounters will let him get even more experience before fighting his first boss. As long as
if those fixed encounters are decent, though.
I was about to say, as long as they play nice, which we'll see in a minute. But definitely a very strong and safe check given the characters that they have, especially since he has not found Sabin yet.
Yeah, and going back to the whole World of Ruin South Figaro, I find myself been trying lately to do a double South Figaro. Like I'll do all of the overmap, all the overmap chest checks, and then I'll switch over the World of Ruin, do all those checks again, and do the interior checks as well. And I've been just massing items as fast as I can, and then before I go out there. And Chimera that's an interesting one.
Definitely a little tough. Hopefully, after a level or two, if the first battle's over by a lot quicker.
Windslash does the job.
Yeah. As for the double dipping South Figaro, that's also something I've been enjoying a bit more. If you are in need of shops still, or in the early game, they are very quick to get to and have a lot more items than, say, Albrook does. And having Edgar's just icing on the cake with it, but definitely double dipping both worlds with it is a pretty strong play. I feel.
And speaking of Dragoon boots, I do see Dragoon boots on Jeff's stream. So come on, guys, we have the pieces. Can we please have an imp?
I want,
We have all the pieces right there.
maybe I have to warn you the brace for disappointment. I don't think you're gonna get the build you want, but I hope I'm wrong.
Hey, he was one of the ones that said he wanted to do it. Come on. Also Celeste channeling her inner vanilla with Ice 2.
Very strong spell this early too, especially if they
Yes.
get a boss that plays nice, and an early Ifrit could be easily thwarted by Celis with Ice 2. But we'll see in a second who we ended up with, or who she is fighting, I mean.
Yep, and here comes our boss fight with the Opera House. Prisoners that done their acting routines.
Yep. Meanwhile, Zelfer checking Molbiz, something I am not used to seeing in World of Ruin at all. That's definitely...
Oh, wow.
Oh, that is great luck for Jack.
Yeah. Well, there's also been multiple ice shields as well to learn that Ice 2 immediately. So that is very much going to be a very easy check to start with for everybody. So Opera House, right off the back.
He probably doesn't need to break the shield, but if he did, he's already learned Ice 2 with some people, and this fight should be really quick for Jack.
Yep.
Meanwhile, the rest of our runners are still shopping and pillaging South Figaro. I don't think I've seen anything too crazy popped up in their pillaging, but solid equipment overall.
Zelfer, you're doing the opposite. You're putting a white cape on somebody. Come on. Okay, we just had the Lobo without Gao, with a Gao check. That's rough.
Yeah, the RNG for the Velt is not consistent between seeds, which can be something that can really make it or break the difference in a race like this.
There we go.
But Zelfer does get it on the second one. Good play by Zelfer and Jack, both purposely not taking random encounters before the Velt in order to guarantee that the Lobo is the only enemy they can find, which will make looking for Sabian a lot quicker.
Yeah, Jack's going to be a little bit slower with that between having the Shimras and the bugs there. So, but they took down the Flame Eater. We got the Merchant swooping in for who? Or what, rather?
The Opera House contained Raiden.
Raiden.
We have our first Magicite.
Very cool. And I also saw a red cap in the falling house there, and a snow muffler.
Yeah, so Jack is doing the collapsing house in Tazen, a free check that can contain a good amount of chests, but also leads you to another check with the Tazen's Thief and some shops. A very solid, quick, easy check at the beginning.
Sid is actually betting something to get a Rage Ring with Edgar right now.
That's an interesting pick early on without knowing that you have Murtrin. Rage Ring, of course, being one of the many items that offer fire protection. So could be necessary if you're trying to get Murtrin strats going.
But apparently all Edgar wants to do is study the rodent. There we go.
The squirrel is very interesting to Edgar.
Yeah, it's extremely. Apparently it was just a lab rat in this situation. Oh, Revivify for a Falchion.
And Falchion could be good especially with the Opera House checks, getting some good instant death. We'll see if that ends up being a difference maker.
Neston, a little tougher. That's got a lot of HP.
Meanwhile, Zelfer is now taking some random encounters now that he has grabbed Sabin, and that's not a risk anymore.
No, that was a rabid wombat there.
Oh, you're right. I'm sorry. That was a dance that changed the background.
Yes.
He is doing Serpent's Trench.
That's another one of those where forced encounter is leveling, so he's trying to get a Behemoth. Okay. Yeah, no. Oh, okay. Are we doing a fight run, or what are we doing? Yeah, we're running.
Yeah, Behemoth is very scary to see at the beginning, even if his level is a bit lower. There's a lot of nasty spells.
Whew. So battle power on Sid already over 200 on all his characters. Not much for armor though.
Meanwhile, it looks like um, Jack is checking out Narsh. Oh, he is just healing while going into a little ruin. We might be seeing a Figaro basement play from him.
Yep.
And that's exactly where he's going.
That's where exactly. So he's going to cave.
Yeah, Egder is a great character for checks because you can kind of knock out all of his in one go by doing Figaro Basement, followed by the Figaro Throne Room, followed by Ancient Castle. So he should be able to get 3 checks and a few treasures in a pretty swift manner. And Zelfer has a Falchion, which he was able to use to easily take out that Behemoth.
Some underwater dobies treading water.
Ooh, and in Tanger, you don't see the invisible Behemoth that often.
Yeah, that is not one you want to see early in the game because you have to use AoE magic spell or something to reveal it. Then you gotta just pound it with damage, and it just disappears again. You just gotta keep repeating the process. So,
And unlike Vanilla, you can't just cast Doom on it because Vanish Doom is removed. Something I forgot in one of my runs because I forgot that counts as Vanish Doom.
and we got Magicite Shoat with fire on it, just fire 1 at the end of the trench. So that's what Jav's going to be getting a little bit as well. We got Gao talking to the imp, who we want to add to the party.
Yeah,
I'm trying, everybody.
A view of things to come. Meanwhile, Jack will be attempting the Figaro Castle Basement boss. So hopefully this is something that plays nice. Bosses are still rather scary for our runners this early. With their options of magic being a little more limited.
Yep. And who we have the engines is number 24, Magmaster Jr.
Yeah, the one you want to see. Sometimes you see that sprite, your heart, skips a beat until you check out its name. Definitely the nicer of the two androids, whatever they are.
Abominations, I guess.
Yeah. Zelfer is doing Opera House World of Ruin, which is interesting. I guess he is going to take a dragon early on.
That's a very early dragon.
Yeah, dragons are scaled, luckily, and with the amount of experience and MP, I'm sorry, that is the Colosseum.
No, that's the
They share the same overall sprite. I should have actually looked at the surroundings for it.
That's okay. I glanced over as soon as you walked into the building, so I didn't see what it was. So, but he's also going for the rage ring too.
Yeah, it's a dried meat, which is cheap, and Orodox is really easy to kill. So it's not that bad of a time investment as long as your characters don't cast Scan over and over and over again.
And as you and what Hudat both said, Zelfer known for his Colosseum strats.
Yeah, Colosseum can really make or break a seed. It can be a big time sink if you don't have the right, if there's not the right matchups. But sometimes you can find the item or items that really give you offense, especially early on.
I don't know if Sid meant to open that chest.
Well, he got the perfect thing for sunburns, aloe vera.
Ooh.
But Sid is doing the Imperial Camp, a really great check early because it's either free without increasing progress if you find an item, or it is 4 battles, which again, early experience is great to get ahead of progress here with it being at 2.5.
Yeah, there's definitely a bell curve you got to stay ahead on. Yes, we know school's almost over, everybody. I just say bell curve.
Meanwhile, that number 24 fight's still going. He's putting up not really much of a fight, but you're starting to see the HP at party average kick in, where some of our bosses are going to feel a lot more spongier than normal and kind of take a lot more of a beating. We'll see in this race.
And I noticed that on Sabin, one of his dances, two of them were Antlion and Snare. So pretty dead. There's really only one dance. The other one had Wombat and Sunbath, I believe. So a little bit better on the other one. Oh, there goes down number 24.
And with over at Shadow Sid, we see that it is a Esper here. Imperial Camp is one of the few ones where you can tell immediately whether you're getting an item, character, or Esper. So he will be getting his first Magicite. While Jack picks up the Magicite Golem.
And Sabin actually looks like Mog to fit the dance.
Um,
I know. I was like, wait a minute.
It always screws with me, right? Like every time, even when I play on my own, I'm like, oh yeah, I did equip that on him, and you always do double take. But yeah, so Jack picked up Golem, one of the best Espers to see, independent of spells, because now he knows he is good for protection against Calmness, a instant death attack that the final boss uses.
Yeah, some of these dances on Sabin, not that great. Pretty
dance traps are hard. I personally don't go for them, but you work with what you're given this early. Jack will be heading to the ancient castle before checking the throne room, but should be a free check unless he decides he wants to challenge the dragon there.
I mean, at this point, he's got quite a few levels. He's gone through the trench. So, and Kefka is to jump off the cliff with our heroes here for the falls check.
And getting Sabin this early, with Jack being the one who doesn't have Sabin, has really made this an interesting race because everyone's been taking very different routes so far, and we've already seen a whole bunch of different areas. 3 of our 4 runners are doing very different things at the moment, and it'd be interesting to see which routes end up making the difference.
Clutch heal there on Sid there. Everybody was down about 20 HP, and then Sabin just healed them up by 300, so that was a clutch heal right there.
The Danth giveth, and the Danth taketh away.
Yeah. Yeah, dance and slots.
Slots is a little more predictable, though. If you practice a little bit, time in the slots can be a very good early game offensive weapon.
So we do have Dragon Boots. We do have Purlance. Both of those are going on the Celeste. We do have Celeste as a Dragoon now.
It looks like Jack might be attempting the Dragon, potentially?
It's a 3-member party. This should be really...
Oh! No.
Okay, no, he wasn't, and he almost ate it anyways.
Well, at least if he did, at least he had equipped all his party members.
Yeah, that was Twinkle Toes on that one. Another Tempest.
Jack will be leaving without attempting the Dragon. It is rather early for a Dragon, but taking one out would be a huge progress increase.
Honestly,
increase.
Now, honestly, would you run to the save point right here and run back in? No, he's just running past it. But would you run back to the save point and try to run back in and get it? Or was that too much of a time waste?
I would have saved beforehand and had made the decision before I came in. I don't think he really picked up anything that was going to really make the difference. So he would have known going in whether he was going to attempt the Dragon or not.
We have an imp. We have an imp on screen.
There you go. You're part of the way there.
Come on. Come on. But I don't think he's the one that has any of the items, so.
Ooh, and we have arguably best girl Terra at Barren Falls, another great character, both in terms of checks and overall, ability.
That's your favorite one.
That's why I said debatable. Oh,
Whoa.
but she has throw.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
Throw is, in my opinion, the best raw ability that isn't called magic in this game.
In this randomized game, or really in general, yeah.
Yeah. Especially with good stats. Terra, say what you will about her checks, has one of the higher magic stats and a pretty good physical stat, which means those skeins will be extremely powerful for Jack.
And if you go to, looks like go to the Castle Figaro, you have unlimited shuriken thanks to the discount from Edgar. So definitely have unlimited shuriken that you can throw there.
And that's one of the great things about throw is you have so many different options of elements and physical and non-elemental damage and the whole and it can be really versatile. You can get through a lot of boss fights with just throw, and can cover a lot of different weaknesses as well. So if a runner leans heavily on it, throw can really carry them through a pretty significant part of the game.
And Jack Jack almost wasn't going to go to South Figaro there, decided to go for it, and is going to get rewarded with those earrings that we mentioned before.
Yeah, he'll be cashing in probably a good amount of earrings, I would imagine.
Yeah, he sold a ribbon for it. So,
and Jack doing a kind of really thinking
Muscle
ahead.
belt.
He picked up a muscle belt because he picked up the Atma weapon in Figaro Castle.
Ooh.
That's not going to really yield anything at the moment, but that is going to set him up for a pretty strong endgame build with a high HP with the Atma weapon.
And he finally gets to the end of that, to the end of all those battles. Got Carbuncle with Pearl at 20 times, and +2 magic power.
The latter being extremely important. That +2 magic power will really make a character snowball very, very quickly.
Zelfer getting his Terra.
And so we're seeing Jack with Terra and maybe Zelfer short behind him tackle the sealed cave. We're a little bit into the run, so it's not as great as starting with Terra, but the sealed cave is considered one of the better checks.
Oops.
Full of treasure.
Oh wow. I think they forgot to put back on their mogul charm, but they got the easiest fight in the game. So
literally the easiest.
Yeah, this is first battle like vanilla that you get if you ever play this. But yeah, as Brenna said, it is Loot Cave. So like ultimate start, like you get Terra in your starting party, you are loaded with items. You're going to the Esper Cave. You're going to South Figaro, both versions if you want to. So you're going to be loaded up with items the first 20 minutes you're in.
Right.
But as you mentioned, you get behind the bell curve if you do that.
Yeah, but they will at the very least end up with a good amount of money, with the things they sell. At this point, our runners will probably still hit some shops, but it might be a lot less frequently than at the beginning. But it's still, you still want to see it over most other checks, even if you're getting this a little bit later. I never knew about that water skiing check.
There is 3 items that are located in that kind of area, that space area.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, there's 4. I believe there's a 4th one halfway to the treasure chest there, behind the treasure chest. But they're kind of hidden underground. You have to be pixel perfect to get on it to get them. It's kind of wonky.
Huh. Yeah, I never knew about this.
Yeah. Dragon Claw's a good one. Safety bit, Magicite, Merit Award. That's good.
So, as Victa mentioned in chat about Terra not being able to equip an Esper, with our settings, not every character can equip every Esper. Some Espers may be locked out for certain characters, which will definitely make Magic not quite the one-stop answer. You could potentially have a great spell, but only some characters can learn it. And that will really change a lot of planning for the final builds.
Yeah, but I mean, if you're going to have throw, anyways, you're going to have those elements from the fire skin, from the water skin, from the bolt skin, all that stuff. So you're going to have the elemental damage for like the spells give you anyways. So it's for that situation, it's not going to be too bad. It's just you're not going to get the buff.
Right, but we might see other Espers that other characters who aren't Terra might not be able to equip, and we'll kind of have to keep an eye on that as we go. Jack did pick up Bahamut from the Sealed Cave. One of the better summons for just raw damage, especially early in the game, that could really make a difference in some of the boss fights.
And we have a Yeti down in the Magic Tech pit.
Yeah, our first boss fight of the factory. But without a lot of fire damage, it's probably going to be a little bit longer of a fight, I would imagine. Oh, they do. He does have a fire
Oh,
rod.
he has a
though.
fire. Yep, fire rod. Does he want to use it? You have to target your party and then target them. But yeah.
And the other question is whether he is high enough level to use Fire Dance or not. That could really make this fight a lot faster.
I have seen it on some screens. I don't know about Sid. But I have seen it on one of the other runners.
And
We also have a Thunder Shield, so Bolt 2 is coming through on Zephyr.
I believe I saw Ninja Stars on Zephyr screen. So when Zephyr, so that's another good source of non-elemental damage, very strong one for throw.
So let's just review real quick. We got Sid with 4 characters, only 1 Esper. We got Jack with still the original 3 characters and 2 Espers. We have Zephyr with 5 characters, 2, and we have Jack and Jeff. Wow, this is gonna mess me up all night. With 5 characters and 2 Espers. No dragons across the board. And the only extra characters we've seen so far have been Sabin and Terra.
That's right. And so Zephyr and Jack from the numbers are still in the lead right now. But all runners have a few different offensive options available to them between throws and strong blitzes and some items. And so how they kind of get through these early bosses will really impact their time overall, kind of using the few tools they have available to them at the moment.
Jack finally getting a character.
And he's probably happy that he saw Sabin. Like we said, Sabin has some amazing checks.
Both Terra and Sabin do. They have like 5 checks each. I mean, that's a lot of.
Terra's are not quite as good, of course, with Wheat River and Penumbra being who they are.
Okay, maybe not good is the word. Maybe like a bounty of checks.
Yeah,
I guess.
In my opinion, Sabin's checks are a whole lot better. All 5 of them are great, but Terra has 3 really good checks on top of, on average, being a better character.
Siren would scan.
That's what they're all looking for. Well, Siren itself will be useful at the end of the game, but yeah, the scan probably wishes there was a different magic on there.
Well, there is. The other magic was Break, which is an auto kill, so that would be helpful for a couple of the final Kefka things. But
yeah, Break works on long arm, but unfortunately does not work on tools in.
Oh yeah, you're right.
But still good to take out a pretty powerful component of Kefka. One of the things about Worlds Collide that these runners are doing, since we know what the final boss is, they will be mentally prepping for their endgame builds as they run, and stuff like the summon Siren and Break will factor into some of their endgame strategies. So even if it's not helpful now, they know it will be helpful an hour and a half from now.
And one of the characters over here on Jack's screen actually has a life 3. So
good preventative healing. Sometimes that's the only healing you have, and you kind of have to, play around with it.
French Vanilla on Sid's screen. Claws instead of guarding the exit, they're guarding the entrance.
I believe we called them Niles and Fraser, the Crane brothers.
Niles and Fraser. Well, hopefully Sid won't get his eggs scrambled. Yes, I'm that old. Jeez.
I think both with Zephyr and Sid, though, you're really seeing one of the big things with this given flag set, which is the party average HP scaling starting to kick in. Some of these fights are going to last kind of a long time, even if the enemies are not hitting very hard. They are going to be rather beefy, and it might take a few minutes to power through some of these bosses.
Yeah, it's basically really going to run up against a couple walls. Jev is doing a new check. Well, I don't know if he's doing a new check or not. He's going back to get the fire skins, which would be good later on when he goes down to the Magitech facility, because I don't think he's gone yet.
No, but he also has Terra, so he'll be probably checking Welk, I assume, on top of picking up those skis.
Yeah.
A good double dipping for Jack.
Uh-oh, we got an airborne Yeti.
It's not how God intended it. He did not intend
No.
for such large Yetis to be capable of flight. Oh, and we have a shadow at Welk. So this means Jack will be done with his characters and only needs Espers now.
But Furno, that's not one of the nicer ones.
No, not one you like to see, early. You don't really like to see him at any point, but especially early. He has some surprisingly vicious attacks that can come out.
Oh, we got a Terra down on Zulfur.
And meanwhile, Sid is going through the minecart ride. With the Magitech Factory, up until the minecart ride, you have the option to warp out if you choose so. But once you do the minecart, you are locked in. So whatever boss is past here, whether 2 bosses are past here, he will be forced to fight. Some runners like to elect to, after the second check, warp out and not bother with the third one. So that is a interesting and potentially important choice that Sid did.
So the only thing I haven't, I'm going back to this, I know, but whatever. The only thing I have not seen is the body armor for the imp yet. It's like the only thing we haven't seen yet.
I don't think I've seen it either, but I'm not gonna lie, I don't necessarily look for it. It's not the thing that catches my eye immediately.
Yeah, well. Boy, he does not.
No.
Striker does not like that Terra.
Though he did get lucky with an Alexander summon randomly from slots, doing a decent amount of damage, and that was
there you go.
Topple him.
Oh, Sid into a little bit of a wall at the moment. That's Magi Tower, peoples.
Yeah, he's gonna want to smoke bomb out of there. Those are some.
Yeah, he's
some
looking
of the
for
more
it. Yep.
nasty enemies in the game.
Whew. And I think, was that Edgar or Gao? No, Gao is loaded up like a bear on Zulfur. He's got Atmas. He's going to be rocking Atmas, the Genji armors, and everything. So he moved into the front row.
And he also... we have Jax picked up Shadow with Rage. I don't know if he'll be diving into the Rage menu, but that can really, either be completely useless or game breaking, depending on what rages are available here.
By the way, quick shout out to Brianna and Calf for helping us out with the restream and the checks here. Thank you for the help with that.
Right. What's wrong command? Follow our restreamers, and I will do the commands for our racers as well.
Yep, and I will be streaming very soon, although that's not the right one for me. It's not WULF, it's WOLF. But yeah, so follow us on there. I will be streaming very soon. I finally got the application working for that, so rah. Ooh, hey, Guardian, hi.
Guardian's going to be rough with the HP scaling. He already has some of the highest HP in the game, and...
Yeah, as noted there, over 20-something...
That is a reason why everyone has scanned, though. It's because with this high HP scaling, we wanted people to be able to have an idea of how long their battle is going to take. And so every character has scanned for you to be able to get a gauge of how long a given boss fight might be.
And I don't know what that ability savings you. I don't know which dance that's called, move it's called, but man, is it healing.
Is it sun bath or is it the ice rabbit?
No. It's the raccoon one that pops out.
Yeah. I forget its name. It has a weird name both in the SNES and GBA.
Ninjas. Ninja alert on Jack. There it is. There it is again. I missed the name.
Oh, it was Wild Boar. And so
Medusa.
Jack is checking Phantom Train and seeing an Esper and electing to reset out. I guess he was looking for a character there,
Oh.
but he will at least remember there's an Esper there. So if he's looking for his last one, that could be an option. Guaranteed, guaranteed Magicite.
Yeah, but I don't know why you want to pass on Medu. I mean, it's a decent Magicite, but I guess, I mean, I don't know.
And,
I would at least looked at it, see what the spells were. I mean,
right, and that's what I would have done as well. And if the spells were nothing fancy, dip out and come back later if you need exactly one more, because Phantom Train is a relatively quick check, all things considered. But I guess he really was just looking for having more character gates.
Oh my goodness, that hurt.
Right,
Jev is running into some major trouble right now. And yeah.
Amulet Weapon, even though he's a mid-game boss, has some nasty attacks, and he's gonna probably have a good amount of HP too, and so that is gonna be a tough fight. All of these boss battles are gonna be rather tough with how scaling currently works.
Yeah, 40 minutes into the game. Now we're getting into the beef of the bosses, I guess you could say, as we were mentioning before we even started this, the HP scaling these bosses we're going to have. So definitely running into it now.
Right, and you're really seeing that effect with Sid's stream. The Guardian is just so beefy. It's been a few minutes now, and Zelfor will be hitting this in a second too, and not hard. He's managing perfectly fine. Just long, a big time sink.
Okay, then I just had that flashback of that old lady saying, "Where's the beef?" I guess we gotta hear. God dang it.
A timely reference.
That made one of our people leave the streaming room. Atma goes down.
Jax manages to hold on as Atma Weapon goes down, especially with Terra at 14. So she still gained the experience there, which was fortunate.
Strength +2.
Yes, we scared Franklin off. Yes, and, I believe that's the second Strength +2 Esper, but maybe Terra can actually equip this one.
Yeah, the smoke bomb is the order of the day for the Imaginary Tower in the kart race there. Yeah.
Now with
Jack is on the Whisper Cave.
The two Strength +2s and the one Magic +2 Esper, we're going to see some beefy, some powerful characters at the end. It really should offset the high HP scaling that we have, and this might actually look a little bit closer to a normal run.
So the final battle coming out of the Magitech facility will be an Ultros 4. Which is same thing as normally, is just on the opposite side of the screen.
Yeah, it's
oh no, it's same side.
Yeah, same side.
So would this technically be like a French vanilla, since it's almost the same thing? I don't know.
Vanilla bean, maybe.
Yeah. Man, that pearl with the +2 in magic underneath it is really hitting hard.
Yeah, when they picked up Pearl, I was, noting that.
Where did Merton come from?
Oh, on whose screen was that?
Sid. Same thing.
Oh. That must have maybe been a national magic. Oh no, Zone Seek has Merton on him.
Oh, okay. Well, that goes with a couple of ice shields you had early.
Yeah, so I missed that check. So Zone Seek was at Magitech 2 and has
it was Magitech 2. Yeah, with the cranes.
Of course, Mertrin does not help at all against Chupon, who absorbs fire. But that would be great for future bosses. A very powerful tool.
The Atma Weapon on Gao not really hitting as hard as I guess maybe expected.
Not
only doing
yet.
about 700 right now. Right now. I'm just saying right now.
Yeah.
But
you're only going to see it get better and better, luckily, though. That's the fun of Atma Weapon.
Jev has Ultros 1. I don't remember where he is right now.
He's in Zozo. He
is in Zozo.
Terra's checking Zozo. And easily dispatches him.
Another merit award. A couple of merit awards in this steed.
Yeah, an item you don't see a lot of use with, and Jack
Yeah,
gets
with the extra
another
randomized
Esper.
items for people, yeah. Another magic power too, Esper.
Yeah, and so Jack has to be happy to see that. With having 6 characters, he's really just looking to blitz through his last couple of Magicite, and is only a few checks away from going into the tower at this rate.
hmm Now the question is, do they go for the extra dragons to try to skip the gateway to get there, or skip 2-way rather, or whatever?
That will be an interesting decision. But it is also an extra character, an extra Esper as well.
There you go, ground. I didn't see that earlier.
Yeah. But that could, with uh, Jack's having 6 characters. There's a very good chance he runs into a 7th that he doesn't need, and in that case, if you have an extra, it might be worth shooting for the last tiny bit in order to skip a good part of the final dungeon.
Yeah, in case you're joining us who don't know what we're talking about, there is an extra, I guess, flag to this that if you want to stick around, get an extra character, get an extra Esper, get 2 dragons, you can skip ahead a little bit in Kefka's Tower. As kind of like a catch-up mechanic almost, you could say, or an alternate strategy. Nobody is going along, however, with the one of the strategies we were saying about the level pairing and having the extra character in your party, like the dead player drag along tactic that we talked about earlier.
Yeah, because with the HP scaling, you can really, being at party average, you can manipulate that a bit if you wanted to bring a low level character with you to speed through some of the battles.
There's something else here every day. Try talk frying Kefka. Something I don't really see from vanilla.
Oh, to answer a question in chat, XP scaling is at party highest, just party highest times 1, which I think makes it a little bit lower on average, but it depends on the point of the game you're at.
Mm-hmm.
I think I will admit I am not the best on these split out scaling. I'm learning as well since this is so new to all of us.
All right, we have a lot of crossing paths here. We're kind of coming all back together again. We got the Zelfer doing the Ultras 4. We got Sid doing the Terra check at the end of the North River. We have Jack going up to do well. Oh, I think I saw Locke, was it? Behind Yamaro?
Yep.
So Jack's about to get the Shadow that had Rage, so it's kind of going to be a pass for a lot of the guys. Yeah, and Jev's doing the Opera House, which I believe was another Magicite.
Yeah, we didn't mention this earlier, but one of the nice things about the luck check is that you do get to peek at the Yumaro check. If it is a character, he will appear at the top right when walking into the caves. Probably won't factor into this race because they don't have Yumaro, but sometimes that can matter when planning out your route if you know for sure there is or isn't a character there.
And actually having Locke is not a bad. That's probably the best place you could have Locke, because on the way back out the door, you can hit the locked up shops on the way back out. So that's actually a perfect place for him to find him in a seat. So,
right, it's definitely one of the better places to find him. But like you said, a lot of crossing paths at the moment. I think we'll see some of our tracker counts get a little more averaged out. The interesting one being Zelfer and Jack, Zelfer being up on Magicite, but Jack being up on characters. That'll be interesting if Zelfer can find a 6-character early, because else he might be kind of confined to some less than optimal checks.
And Zelfer looks like he's going to do the Mountain Knots. Yep. Or Clots, or
Colts.
Is it Clots or Knots?
It's Colts.
Colts.
Yeah, like the animal. It's okay. I mispronounced for a long time until someone corrected me on commentary once. So,
well, when I was first playing this game,
and we all played this game when we were young and we were not pronouncing it out loud. So
right.
Is it Cells or Celeste or Celis? Everyone has different pronunciations for a lot of these.
Well, who cared anyways? You got to rename them, so who cared? So, and in fact, I actually, honestly, I run into that sometime with Tara. I keep calling her Martha. Why I called her Martha, I have no idea. But into my head, it's like, oh, this. I mean, no, not Martha.
It's funny how
It's the only one I have a hard time with.
that first playthrough sticks with you. Like, I remember most of my custom character names my first playthrough, and I could not tell you what they were the second, third, or 20th.
Apparently, Brandon names her Valerie.
Oh.
I am sorry. 1,000 pardons.
That reminds me, we have not seen any rename card strats from our runners. Some
Well, I haven't
runners
seen
like
any renamed cards, period.
Oh, yeah, that's a good point. Sometimes our runners like to have a little fun during the community races, and if they see rename cards, buying them and, memeing
But
up their
that-
characters a little bit.
But that was a bingo card last week. That was a bingo card thing to do last week.
Oh, was it?
Yes, it was.
Oh, that's fun.
It was change your character name to a meme.
Ha.
And I believe the winner was buy Mogecoin.
That's actually really funny. Jack is checking out Cave of the Veld. This is a new check that none of our runners have done since we picked up Shadow at Welk. Meanwhile, the offering was at Gal Manor, so Jack now has the offering to pair with his weapons, which could potentially end up with some pretty broken endgame builds, depending on what equipment he finds.
And ammo weapons starting to pick up some steam. That level 4 flare is going to put a big dent in them now. One thing I do like about that check in Cave of the Velda and the World of Ruin, it does tip your hand to show who's going to be in there. It's a Strago. Personally, me, I probably would have skipped it unless you didn't have any other options.
Yeah, I don't know.
Not the greatest checks.
No, and he's already maxed characters, but I don't know what checks he still has available. He's done all of his Celis and Edgar and
Easy battle, though.
Yeah, most of his saving checks, so it could be you do Stragos checks or do Elite River, and suddenly the Strago checks seem a lot more enticing when those are your options.
Yeah, seriously, I need to know what that Rocket Raccoon healing spell is on dance. I really need to know what it is, because that is healing.
We have a question in chat about what game this is. This is the Final Fantasy VI randomizer called Worlds Collide, where all of the items and abilities and espers and spells are randomized, and our runners are trying to go through the game and find a certain amount of characters and espers so they can enter the final dungeon and go beat Kefka. And this is our weekly community race for Worlds Collide.
And the great thing about this, you actually get to be able to open up the entire game. You get an airship in both of these worlds, which is a major thing for Final Fantasy games. And you basically throw all the, like you said, the abilities, the characters, the bosses, the items, and just throw them all up in a dice tray, and just throw them all on the table, and you get what you get. And this has breathed brand new life in this game. This is one of the most favorite games growing up for a lot of people. It's one of the favorite RPGs of several big streamers out there, actually. So we're happy to have this for all you.
Right, it's my favorite RPG, my favorite game of all time. So when I found out there was a randomizer, I was immediately all in. You didn't even have to tell me anything about it. I was gonna play it. So Jack is doing the Penumbra check. Even though he picked up Strago, doesn't have a lot of checks available that are optimal. But with Penumbra, you can peek what the check is. And he saw that it is the Esper Phoenix, which then puts him maybe in auction house range to go to the tower.
Yep, and like Ficta said there in the chat, head over to ff6wc.com. It'll have the page. It has the wiki there to explain how you do it, what some of the sites you can go to download an emulator to bring this into your computer, and you can randomly roll. Definitely recommend a beginner one if you've never played this game before, and it definitely eases you into the game. It's fun to play, and it's different every time, which is the best part. And that was a reset on Zelfar. Didn't see what happened there.
He checked Phoenix train and saw that it was an Esper and reset it out. I guess he was also looking for a character like Jack was.
No love for Terra's dad. Uh-oh. Hello. We have a goddess on the screen.
Ooh, that is not what you want to see at the end of Penumbra. Penumbra forces you down to 2 characters. And
3
God-
if you had one new character in the check.
yes, that is true. But that character actually comes in at like level 3. He does not come in at his normal stats, which is really
That is
funky.
true.
But Goddess
what
is
it
one
is.
of the hardest fights in the game, and having to do it down 2 characters is not fun.
Okay, I want to ask that. Why is that? Why is that extra character after Pumbaa coming in at level 3? That makes it almost useless.
I have no idea. It's probably something to do with when their abilities are generated. I don't know. I think someone explained it in a chat one time, and I'm just blanking on it completely.
I see a bit of a wall here because Edgar not really having much at his disposal spell-wise, it looks like, for Jev. He's got to wake up Terra because Terra has that throw. Got to get her up. That's not going to wake her up, but that does. That's natural. But, clean sweep. This might knock him down to about 200 HP left here.
Well, luckily Terra
it heals her.
Absorbing it.
Must be channeling your inner imp.
She chucks any weapon she has on her at Goddess.
Ooh, ow.
Oh, 3 HP. Barely clinging
Yeah, that
on.
is... Can we see a break? Nope, not after that. There's curse on that, sorry.
That's probably going to be the end of that fight.
Yeah, bolt 3. Wow, okay, Edgar with a block on bolt 3. Woo. So bolt 3, now we're starting to see that curve.
Yeah, so we have ability scaling as a factor of 3 to kind of offset the slightly quicker progress. So even though enemies' stats are gaining, a little bit quicker than a normal seed, their abilities actually that are available to them, whatever tiers they end up with, were slowed down a little bit. Where instead of level 40 being when they access their top tier stuff, it's level 48. But
there's the reset.
Yeah, we're starting to see some higher abilities, and like I said, Goddess is one of the toughest enemies in the game, and she can be very nasty when she wants to be.
Yeah, I don't think. I would leave. I would leave and not come back to that one.
It is rough though. He knows there's an Esper there, and he's probably wondering if he goes in again and he randomly gets a different combination of characters, whether he'd have a better chance. But he does elect to leave. We know that's a smart move, but he's probably, I would imagine if I was him, rather nervous of whether you made the right call there or not.
A strategy, not a good one, but a strategy for Pumbaa is get him down to about 3/4 health before he gets those sneezes off. Kill the 2 guys on your team you want to have die, and then he'll sneeze those 2 lesser characters off the screen, keeping your 2 stronger ones. It is a risky strat, killing your own team, however, but it is a strat. I have seen it used.
Speaking of strats, Jack is now back at Phantom Train. He went in there earlier and saw that it was the Maldine Esper and chose to reset out for time. And he must have noted the Esper was there, and now that he only needs 2 more for Kefka's Tower, probably decided this is a quick one.
That is a Gao with Sniper and Offering.
That is going to be a very powerful combination, especially in the final battle. Sniper being ridiculously good against everything after tier 1.
Yes, definitely.
We also have one of the new things in this flag is we finally have the ability to allow Gao to have the fight command, something he has been lacking before now.
Yeah, something with Gao with leading up to this point before Dot 9.2 was that he was a bit of a more of a dice roll to other characters. All the other characters, except for the exception of Go-Go, of course, um, will have one special ability. Gao, before this, had 2 special abilities that he could have possibly had. So you could have 2 good ones or 2 really bad ones.
Yep.
And not having a fight command, pretty much, like, if you had 2 bad ones and there's no fight command, you kind of was nothing.
That happened in the latter practice race that a lot of us did, where Gal started with, I believe, Steel in Control.
Oh, boy. So we found statue number 2.
Yep.
We have, I'm just going to say it, Doom Train. We have a Doom Train.
It is, basically, it's... Doom, luckily, is the easiest of the 3 statues, though, especially if you can get into phase 2, because he has a very predictable physical attack, and that's it. The other 2 are definitely a lot more nasty than he is.
Well, 5,200 jump damage is really going to do it too for you.
Yep. And ice shields as well. This might be a longer fight, but it should not be a tough one for Jack. Especially compared to the goddess fight.
All the bosses have had a thing for Terra today, like on all the streams. I've seen a lot of Terra taking dirt naps today.
Well, they know she's the best girl, and they're targeting
Yeah,
her.
okay. We do have a Dargan on Sid's screen.
That is
Blue Dargan.
He is going for the dragon. Very good way to get experience. I almost always go for them if they are on my path, because you can really explode in power with a dragon fighter too. And you're guaranteed a top tier item drop from it as well. So not good for progress, but if you pull something like a Valiant Knife, could be game changing.
Let's see how big Celestis Pearl is here as Zephyr holding hands with Sid here, is taking on the same dragon here. It's not doing as good as it was.
They're in a mini race at the moment. We'll see which one slays the dragon first.
I am the Dragon Slayer.
And Jack takes down Doom. Pretty handily. Definitely hit hard, but he had the damage to easily power on through there.
Now, I didn't notice, unless there was a line shift that Doom did, that he did switch his lineup before going into that fight. Maybe.
I think it was actually a little bit.
because Gal could shoot that from the back row, anyways. Never mind.
I think there was actually a little graphical glitch there. Some of the characters seemed not in line to where they should have been, which can happen with certain animations in certain battles.
And last but not least, Jev is going downstairs to the Blue Dragon area there.
And
we have 3. We might have 3 Blue Dragons on the screen here in a second.
I think we might. Jack, of course, is in great position now. He only needs one more Esper to go to Kefka. And he will find that. Sorry, he will not find that Welk. We already know that is Shadow.
Yeah. So he's gonna be a little disappointed on that one.
Right. And the recap: Jack is 2.
No! He took a right-hand turn there. He's going up to Kefka.
He is doing Kefka at Narshe. That is interesting.
Well, that is a. It's gonna be a little bit of a gamble when he gets up. By the time he gets up there, we don't know what it is yet, but it is a trip. It's a hike up this hill,
and a trip you can't warp out of, but you can reset out of.
Yes. Oh, actually, he's in World of Ruin.
Oh, I missed all that too. I think I just saw the beginner house and assumed it was World of
Ruin.
Yeah,
I thought. Yeah, he was in the caves. It's hard to tell without the music in the background.
Right.
Because you don't want to hear our voices echoing in our head 5 seconds later. So,
right.
Oh, no, he's doing Tri-Talk. That's what he's doing. Okay.
Right. And being World of Ruin, he can warp out of this. He can't do the Yamaro check that would follow Tri-Talk, but he does get one chance at his last Esper.
And that's... Okay, so, in Narshe, let's sitting on top of the hill.
He's just a year late.
Yeah. And we have Master Pug in the offering box.
Yeah, which Sid fought and spent a while on, but Zelfer is electing
Yeah,
to nope
nah,
out of.
no. That's just one of the ones you're like, nah, I'm good.
Yeah. uh, Now this Welk fight's gonna be interesting with the HP scaling and how it is. We might, depending on how much damage you can do, we might see Welk pop into a shell a few times.
or
No,
just
never mind.
die.
I just die. I am completely wrong. That could have been a worry, but Jack has more than enough damage to power on through, proving
So-
me wrong.
Is this go time for Jack? The answer is
Yes, it is.
yes.
So
Now,
Jack will
but
be
here-
heading to the tower.
But here's the thing. Zelfer only needs one more character, one more Esper, one more Dragon to catch up. Because I would say he's kind of in first. I think it's kind of a tie between Jack and Zelfer here.
Well, he needs an extra two. He needs 7 characters and 10 espers. So he actually needs 2 espers and 2 characters to do the skip. But he is 1 and 1 behind on entering the tower normally. And so it's really going to come down to, does he get lucky with some of his checks in order to make up the ground? But Jack is going to elect to fight the dragon here, a gold dragon. A good move to get some extra XP and maybe a good top tier item before going into the final dungeon. Really kind of help, steamroll past some of the bosses in the tower. Oh, explain the Kefka Tower skip. Yes, so that is a new feature added in the last update, the 092 update, where you can specify an alternate set of requirements or to skip part of Kefka's Tower. And so you will skip everything before the wait room. So all of that walking around and the Inferno boss fight, and then of course the 2 dragon fights, the optional dragon fights. And you can set them to whatever you want to be, which lets you be very creative. In this case, if you get 1 extra character, 1 extra Esper, and 2 dragons, you can
Minerva.
skip it.
That is a terror with Minerva and a Regal Crown.
She is going to be a tank. Nothing is
Yeah.
really going to get by her.
Didn't mean to interrupt it, but that's a big item.
Yeah, that is why Zelfer decided to take on those pugs, because it's not guaranteed, but I think each one has like a 3rd chance or something to drop a Minerva. So with 3 of them, it's pretty likely.
Jack is nope. He's going for it now. He did the dragon, got the Minerva, and he's jumping in.
Yep, we have our first runner in go mode at 107.51.
Not bad.
Yeah.
Pretty good time.
Especially with all the extra HP going on. But yeah, getting back to the Kefka Tower skip, it's something that the community is really excited for, because it doesn't have to be 1, 1, and 2 like it is in this race. We've had people, say put it at 3 or 4 dragons, but keep the Esper count the same to encourage people to fight harder bosses to potentially skip. We've been playing around with the idea of, maybe no extra characters, but 2 extra Espers, in order to rubber band past any saturation with your checks. People are coming up with some pretty creative flag sets involving skipping Kefka's Tower. And I don't think we've really, no one's really come to a definite conclusion of what the best ones are, but a lot of them are very interesting and definitely a lot of fun.
So Zelfer saw the Phoenix peak and decided to no on that. But we know there's a goddess waiting for you after the Pumbaba. So, but Sid is decided to go for this. So this is going to be interesting.
It will be.
And Zelfer's going up the hill like Jack and Jeff did. So
yeah, and he will pick up his last character, which will make him happy. He'll have the peace of mind of knowing he just needs an Esper.
Oh, I'm sorry. No, he's going to do well, which is Shadow. So there you go.
Yep. Yeah, and so um, we'll see what Zelfer does afterwards. That's gonna be interesting. He'll have a free check at Gal's Manor, but we know that is not an Esper. Um, but he also has Auction House, and everyone knows how Zelfer and Auction Houses go. Any other runner might decide to do something different, but Zelfer will get an Esper first try because that is what he does.
So you're saying there's a chance?
So with Kefka's Tower, you have to split your party into 3 parties. And since typically in Worlds Collide, you are rocking 3 to 4 main characters. The bosses you fight here are going to be tough.
Oh, spicy chicken in the house, number 3 here.
Yeah, and that was exactly what I was leading up to, or implying that this is a very tough boss with a full party, and he'll be doing it with only 2. Luckily, it's 2 and not 1 like his other groups, but
and it's the good 2.
Yes, it is the good 2. Your third party typically will fight 3 bosses, where the other 2 groups only fight 1. So you want to load 2 people in your third party. But he knows stop, and Poltergeist is weak to stop, which will make this fight a lot less scary.
Yep. And Sid getting the bad news of Goddess, who has 29,000 HP.
Right, but he does have Mertrin, so this,
Yeah, let's see if Sabin... Okay, so Sabin is good against that with the Merton. Oh, we're just going to play ping pong with Goddess with Merton, apparently.
Right. It's going to take a while. Between the 2 of them, they're only doing about 4,000 a churn, and she had close to 30,000 HP, so this might take a little bit. But I think he should be good.
Jax is doing a sprint through the Magitech facility.
That's a smart move, because he can warp out as soon as he gets his last Esper and go mode.
Well, actually, no. He's got 2 dragons and the 7th character. So he actually needs 2 Espers to do the skip.
That's true. To do the skip, he could shoot. This is a good situation, right? He could shoot for an extra Esper and risk it in order to get the skip. And this could be a very interesting play on his part, especially with 2 checks in a row like this.
This is huge. Like, you have 2 checks, and even if you don't get those 2 checks, you still got a third one after that in the same area.
Yeah, and the third one will take a while, but we know that this check and the next check are both Espers. So if Jack decides to just look at the next check and everything, because it's not that much at a time, we can see him easily bounce back and catch up with Jack very quickly.
Quad 9s.
I know, that's awesome.
Quad 9s on that. Whew. All right, so we got a lot of fights going on right now. 3 of them normally from Kefka's Tower. Still working on the 2 statues at the top here. Yamaru goes down, so that's 1 Esper. 1 more to go for Jex here. Zelfer finally getting through the Striker, getting that Shadow. It's going to find out its Rage. Not a great skill again, like we mentioned before. Let's see if he's going to bang that right corner over into the hill. But he's in, not mistaken, he's actually in, he's in the world of balance. So this would have to be a Kefka. Yep, so he is going to do Kefka. Unlike everybody else has done the Tritalk fight, he's going to go for the Kefka fight. And he still needs a dragon. Oh, still needs an Esper. He just needs 1 Esper for go time for him just to do the normal route. Jax is about to hit the second boss. This is going to be the number 24, which is the Double Crane.
Yeah, and this is going to be a huge play with Jax. He's still going to be a little bit behind Jack, but he's really going to close the gap quickly.
Oh, yeah, it's going to be a huge jump, especially depending on how fast he can get through this.
It's interesting to see Zelfer doing Kefka and Narsh over something like an auction house
Yeah.
check for the
Oh,
last
what the?
Esper.
Whoa. Okay, that was unexpected. He's plowing through the soldiers.
I would have to see when he comes back. He might have missed the skip. Is possible. Sometimes
Maybe.
you miss the timing, and if you do, you get stuck with like 3 battles. It happens to me, one in every 3 times. It feels like.
And this is not a fight you want to have it with either. Especially when Merton heals the bottom two.
Yeah, I think he's maybe looking for a smoke bomb, which he has a few.
Jack on Guardian, he's getting Rexroll. Sid, back to the World of Balance, back in the Narsh. Probably going to do Kefka, I guess, or
He has not checked well
Snail.
yet, I believe, so that is a possibility as well.
Yeah, he's pacing. He's trying to decide what he wants to do. I guess he's going to go for the chest. Okay, another save after healing up.
So Jex is going to bum rush before Kefka's tower. A move you don't see too often because this scene has a very long... It's very long.
It's very long, but very strong.
Right. He's going to have another great offensive tool. Can't aim bum rush, but when it hits like a truck.
And you've had Edgar since the beginning of the game. Might have been boosting up on the strength there. I believe bum rush is strength, not magic power.
No, bum rush is magic. It's magic.
It is magic power. My bad. But still, there was still +2 magic powers too. So.
Yeah, Blitz is weird like that, where you would think they would be physical because Sabin is a musclehead. But
well, yeah, but it's split 50-50 though.
Yeah, but only Pummel and Suplex are physical. All the rest are magical, which makes Blitz even better in Will's Collide when it ends up on someone who actually has magic power, unlike Sabin.
And a Narapa, not a very difficult fight. Just a timed fight, really, where you basically have about 25 to 30 seconds to kill him.
Well, especially when you're as strong as Jack, sometimes you can skip the condemns at the beginning, because if you can't, you have to waste 20 seconds or 25 seconds with him casting 4 condemns. He always casts 4, even if he will have 4 party members.
So 0 damage and bad input on Blitz. That's not going to start.
No.
If you're timed battle.
Narapa is absorbs fire. I don't know what he did that did 0. I'm not familiar with what he...
okay. Yeah, you can't use fire either. Or you heal it for like 5,000 HP.
Yeah, not normally a tough fight, but has a few quirks, such as Reflect and Fire Absorption.
So Kefka was Tunnel Armor, just for posterity's sake. Jev's going to go for the Kefka Tower now, but he has the skip, so he goes right straight to the switches.
Right, you don't even have to push. You don't have to do the puzzle. You were just right there to take on the bosses. So he is just a hop and a skip behind Jack at this point.
So now we go back. Now let's talk about the catch-up mechanic real quick. So if he didn't go for the bum rush, I think he would be even with Jack. But for going for the bum rush, he's going to have a little bit stronger Edgar than what Jack has. So do you think he can catch up and maybe even pass going into the Kefka area?
That is a good question. Let's see. Did he bring Edgar? So it depends on what boss Edgar ends up with, since Edgar is on one of the side paths. It could really kind of make a difference.
That is something you don't want to see with the
tentacles
statues, though. Yeah, the tentacles. We only have very few people on your team.
Tentacles is not a top, and Shadow was not ready for that merch run.
As one cook Shadow, he was not prepared. This is not the firehouse, okay?
So, Tentacles is not a hard boss fight, and normally not scary, but in Kefka's Tower, with only one person, since they can grab you, it can be a long boss fight. If you can't kill them off easy. But luckily with Merchant and Jump, I think he's going to be able to get away without being grabbed.
Yep. So he dodged that seize with the jump there, as you said. So should be good. Should be good. The question is, can he take out this Tickle Fest stuff? Because 1800 HP, not that much. Seize doesn't do much damage to you either. So
No, but he's been hit with one seize, which means the next seize will be guaranteed to grab him.
Oh. in Pro Proc, that helps. Yeah, so that was like 9,000 damage there. So
but still alive, and with Celis slowed, we're going to see a second seize. Yeah,
there it
you go.
is.
There,
So
he almost
60
got away.
HP is not that much. So
No, he's not in risk of dying, but he is in risk of losing, 30 to 45 seconds until the tentacle's released. And he was very close to killing the tentacle, which is just a sad time loss.
And, well, I just want to say Jex did Narapa a lot faster by just X-zoning him.
Yeah, definitely. I always forget that's the thing you can do with Narapa, since most bosses are not immune to that.
So there's a definite time jump ahead for that.
Yeah, this is going to get pretty close between Jack and Jex. We're probably going to come down to good execution on Kefka himself. Might be what determines this race.
And also, it's also about what the AI wants to do, who wants to pick and stuff. And if you have Gollum up, or if you have Fenrir, though we don't have a Fenrir this time around. Depends on that. Or if they go in with the correct Espers, like going in with a Raiden to get rid of some of the auto kills.
Right. And they have Raiden, they have Siren, they have Break, they have Golem. They have all the tools to have a pretty safe final Kefka.
But it's just remembering to equip those, because you're equipping Esther just to learn everything else. And then when you get there, you're like, oh crap, I forgot to equip Gollum just for this one thing to get around that skill. So it's a very easy thing to forget, especially when you're running for about an hour and 20 minutes now.
Meanwhile, Zelfer is going to Zozo, but his tracker says he has this character as in his Esper, so I'm curious what his play here is.
Yeah, there's no dragon up there.
Well,
unless he's going for the skip. I mean, that's the only...
He very well could be. And getting a second dragon's not hard. He has Opera House. That dragon's always there. And I don't believe he's done the dragon up at Tritok either. So,
no.
he could be hedging his bets, especially given the fact he saw Phoenix at Molbiz. He might be trying to shoot for the skip.
Well, Bum Rush works pretty darn well if you only have one target to hit for quad 9s.
Yep.
As we see side-by-side Doomgaze's battles here. And Jex is definitely hitting a lot harder. Second quad 9s.
Right, but Jex only has one character, and Doomgaze does cast Doom, and so you're always one Doom away.
Oh, and Bumrush is not an easy input.
And there you go.
And there it is. Oh,
Doomgaze is a rough fight to find Kefka's Tower, because you could do everything right, and it just takes one Doom to just
or arrow. 12 HP on Sabin. That's a pearl. That should be it for there. Nope, still cooking. Oh,
and he had the X potion on Gal.
Oh no!
Well. This is nerve-wracking between the two.
We are tied. We are essentially tied right now.
Yeah,
Jack and Jex.
This tower skip has made things very interesting.
Keep it in.
I know. We've been wanting to see what the right combination is, and it's great to see it in such a race here of just, this made this suddenly a very interesting, fun race. And someone in chat is saying Jex has not done the middle path.
Well,
I think he has. I think that it's just the right path.
Yeah, because there's a save point right there where Guardian would normally be.
Wait, I don't know if he's done the left path. I don't think he's done Tentacles. I think only Jack has done Tentacles. Yeah. So he is...
no level 5 Doom. That's good. Bone Rush. The quad 9s
behind.
again. Zelfer is going for the second dragon. So he is going for the shortcut, but he doesn't have the 7th character, though.
Yes. So I'm trying to think if he's Pete the character somewhere. He obviously knows where Locke is, but you can't get to it because of Yumara. So, perhaps he's hoping that he can find it quickly in one other check. And if not, he got some extra levels from a dragon to help speed things through.
So, going back to the whole Gao Atma weapon, that was about almost, that was 7,000, no, 2, 4, 6, 8, 9. That was about 9,000 damage with Atma weapon with the offering, so.
Yeah, and I believe he's had Siren on Gal for the HP bonus as well.
Yep.
Between that and the muscle belt, Gal is going to
And the Minerva,
be quite a beast.
another Minerva. That's 2 Minervas off dragons there.
And with Atma weapon, you want to keep your Atma weapon user healthy. You do more damage the closer you are to max HP. And seeing a Minerva, which can absorb so many elements and has such a high defense, yeah, you gotta throw that on Gal. That's what you want to see.
Jax breaks through Doomgaze ahead of Jack.
And Jax threw a wall ring on his character too to handle that pesky Doomgaze. If you know you're fighting Doomgaze, a wall ring is a great strategy to really nullify, that Ice 3 and that Doom that he can throw out.
Okay, so there's nobody on the top switch in the middle, so somebody was right about that.
Right, I believe Jack is good after this fight, but Jack still has to do the left path and fight the tentacles. He is one boss behind. Yeah, here you go.
Zelfar getting the bum rush. So at about minute 20, how comfortable do you feel? I mean, these guys are very fast racers. How are you feeling? How do you think of your Sid or Zelfar right now? You think you're still head and lead, or you think you're falling behind?
I would feel like I'm falling behind. With most seeds that are a small derivative of a race seed, 126 is you want to be kind of deeper in Kefka's tower. Zelfar probably knows he's playing a little bit behind, which is probably why he's shooting for Bum Rush and another character. He probably thinks it is a Hail Mary to close the gap. And he's right. If you can find another character and getting Bum Rush for more offense, will help him close the gap a lot more. I don't know if it'll be enough, though.
But hey, it worked for Jax, obviously. So it is definitely a great strat to try to play catch-up with.
Jax, unfortunately, does reset to the tentacles, electing to try it again. I wonder if we're going to see running shoes, but he doesn't have any.
No, I mean, okay, we're gonna try. Oh, there they are. They're on Gao.
Oh, okay, there you go. Yeah. So tentacles hits you with C's, which cast slow on you, and then if you get hit with C's while you're slowed, you get grabbed. Running shoes.
Breakthrough.
Yep, running shoes gives you haste and prevents slow, and so if you so now Terra is pretty much immune to anything they can do. It's a very good strategy. Comes up every once in a while for situations like this where it's quicker to reset and throw that on and attempt it a second time.
Sid, very, very, very late Esper Cave. So, very interesting on that one, especially with all the items you can get.
Yeah, luckily, I don't think he missed out on anything too important, though.
No, I mean, Jack on the hill, going for Kefka now. Jack's not far behind. And I'm crushed because there's not going to be an M from this one.
Never say never. The runs aren't over yet, right?
I mean...
So Jack is getting ready for the final fight, and Jack is going to be just behind him. He didn't quite lap him with these final 3 bosses, but it is going to be in a matter of a minute. It looks like time difference.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's just got to reset his items, reset the Espers, take the quick minute to do it.
Someone in chat brought up a good point that I meant to mention earlier with the Kefka Tower skip, is that if you do the skip, you also always have the option of completely warping out and rearranging your party, which could let you could just front load one party, fight that boss, warp out, put him in the other path, fight the boss, warp out, put him in the third path, and finish it off. Is a potential strategy. So you always know that if you run into a bad boss, you're not stuck with one character. You can really just tackle them with everyone if you need to.
Okay, so Merton for well over 9,000, 0 damage to the party. So yeah,
Gonna be an easy tier 1. So tier 1 Kefka, the face is weak to fire, so Merton is going to slice right through it. And what we actually call long arm, the boss's right arm, it hits
Also-
hard. Oh, good.
no, is it also again for 9,000 damage?
Yeah. Long arm will hit like a truck, but is also susceptible to instant death. But it looks like he is going to have no problem with the rest of tier 1.
No, I think the head and the long arm are dead now after
Yes.
getting hit in the face with like almost three quad 9s there.
which is scary because if the face dies last, he'll counter with Quake, and I've walked in and only cast Merton and have killed all 3 at the same time and have eaten a Quake for my trouble. So you do have to be worried about that with tier 1 and Merton, is not to go too crazy with it. You still want to make sure the face dies first.
All right, so we are so Jax is going to be exactly 1 tier behind at this rate right now.
That's what it's looking like, and so all it takes is a bad combination of trains to make this much closer of a race. But Jax made this very interesting and very fun. Zelfer is going to go into the normal door. He did not find the last character for the skip, and he is electing to cut his losses and just get into the tower.
Yep. Which is too bad. I mean, that one extra character could have jumped him ahead a good. I mean, it takes about 15 minutes or so to navigate sometimes.
It kind of depends on what boss you run into. I mean, you ideally would find an early boss at the Inferno, which means probably takes 5 to 7 minutes, I would say, of walking. Not enough to go personally shoot for multiple checks outside, but enough that, chancing a quick, easy check for a character might be worth it.
I'm checking the damage outputs watching the outputs between Jack and Jax. Jax does have a little bit more damage coming out. Gao's doing about 8,000 with the Atma one time. Celeste, quad 9s with the Merton. Edgar, quad 9s with the Bum Rush. And Terra, I missed Terra there on that one. But he's definitely going to be catching up.
Yeah. Meanwhile, it looks like Jack did not mute tier 2. Did not mute magic in tier 2.
I don't think it's available. No,
they have
he's
Siren.
checking right now. So
yeah, if he had equipped Siren beforehand, he could have. Had that.
Again, we go back to that. We go back to that with equipping the right espers before you get into this.
That's right. You brought that up at the very beginning. It's you gotta keep that in mind when prepping for the final fight. Espers typically are not terribly useful with random boss battles because you don't know who you're fighting. But with the final Kefka, you know who you're fighting, and a lot of espers are certainly very viable in the final fight.
So we have X Magic on Celeste on Jax. Just put out about 14,000 damage with double Merton there.
That is intense.
Yes.
The downside being Gembox is a little bit slow, but it is going to be safe. Seeing that and stuff like tier 3 and 4 when you're trying to skip certain counterattacks, that's going to be very big. The potentially skip the entire last part of sleep.
There's Jax right there. Use the Raiden, killed the machine, use Siren, muted that bat guy.
Right, and now he's basically dealing with only 2 parts of tier 2 at this point. Killed one and basically neutralized the other.
Well, I understand, like how you said, Gem Box is slow, but if you're dealing 7,000 damage to everything on the screen, it's really not that slow. Twice.
Animation wise, it is just the same as casting it twice. So it doesn't save you a lot of time. But since you're doing so much damage in one turn, you can skip stuff like Kefka's Ultima or Sleep's Meteor phase. Like that's where a lot of the good skips come because it's safe. Like you aren't gonna if you kill them in one turn compared to two, it might take the same amount of animation time, but they're also not hitting you in the face either. And yes, Jack is a bot. We all know that.
Yeah.
That is why he's so good at this.
That's why I was laughing. All right, so down to the wire for tier 3 to get to tier 3 here. Looks like Jack is finishing up.
Yeah, so Magic casts the spell twice, both as a death move and in his last little bit of HP. So sometimes it's hard to tell if the spell in quarter is the final attack or just him being a jerk.
Okay, this has got to be it.
Yep, that is it.
Those are some low HPs too.
Oh, but look at that. Jex is also moving on. This is neck and neck.
Here we go, chat. Round 3 Kefka side by side racing. This is what we want to see here on Randomania.
Almost frame to frame. This is so crazy. Yeah.
Once again, this is the Final Fantasy VI randomizer that we call Worlds Collide. We have side by side racing with Jack and Jex. Sid, Zelfer. Zelfer is trying to catch up with him as fast as possible. Okay, well, he's doing an extra dragon. I guess he knows he's far behind now. So,
or the extra HP and item could make the difference. As far as it's high risk, high reward. With tier 3 here, we have Sleep and Girl. Girl is immune to every element, but only has 10,000 HP. But she will revive Sleep and heal Sleep, and so you have to take Girl out first. But with Throw, that is trivial to do. But she does need to be taken out before you can start the merchant trains.
Yep, and then when you have items like Offering, like Jack has on his Gao, it makes it very hard to target the girl in the back.
Right. But luckily it looks like 2 Ninja Stars will take her out.
Yeah, 2 Ninja Stars to the face. There you go.
Yeah. One reason why Throw is great is Throw is the perfect, girl counter, right? It's, you can pretty much always just, single target non-elemental damage is pretty clutch.
And Jack does have Golem, so he will have that for that final spell there. Sid just getting into the tower now, so everybody's in the tower.
Meanwhile, Jack has hit the second part of Sleep, the problematic Meteo train segment, where he will deal a lot of damage with Meteo and can counter with train and Meteo to every attack.
Ooh, and that's warning lights coming off for... that's one thing we haven't seen. We haven't seen many... I don't think we have seen a Cure 3 or even a Cure 2 from these Espers, actually.
Why bother curing when you can just kill them fast?
Or you can just have Raccoon heal everybody like you have with Sid. And there's that Meteo.
Looks like Jack forgot he had a wall ring on Egder and just healed Girl by accident with a Cure 3.
Ruh-roh. And looks like Terra has about 5 seconds left remaining on her counter there.
And it looks like Jack is now on to tier 4.
Oh, so Jack's stumbling a little bit here. Yep, that was about 5 seconds left on there. There comes Meteo. So that's going to knock down at least one, I think. Nope, still hanging in there.
But he got through it.
But he's got the Golem off. He's got the Golem off, so he's not far behind.
He's not far behind.
Terra is going to go down in the next 2 seconds, though.
I believe Condemn ends.
Oh, no, it ends. That's right. You refresh it. I think all this stuff is refreshed. Whew.
I
This is
know.
exciting, guys.
And both of them have the offense, and I suspect Jack will end up crossing the finish line first because offense is not anything they're wanting at the moment.
Well, I don't know. I got on Jax. Jax has the higher damage. He's got the better Gao. He's got the bum rush. He's only got a single target that he has to hit now.
It's
So
true, but Jack's already done 10,000, close to 20,000 damage at this
yeah,
point.
so he's got a little bit of a lead. He's got a couple of procs with the sniper. Where is the no? He doesn't. There's no Mega Elixir there, so there's a Cure 3. My bad. So there is a Cure 3 available for use. Oh, Havoc Wing. Oh no, there goes the Celeste.
And 2 people at 1.
Meanwhile, Jack's double cast Merton for Celeste.
Yeah, Jack's gonna have to slow down a bit to do some healing.
There's the fallen one. Throwing the scimitar. Woo! That's gotta hurt.
Jack is entering the last phase of Kefka with the screen shaking. He now knows he's at less than half HP.
Yep.
Charging up for Goner. During the last phase, he can counter every attack. He has a 2/3 chance of countering any attack, except for when this is happening, when things are shaky. So that's when you just want to wail on him as fast as possible.
That's it. That's it. Jack finished.
Game.
Coming in with the Bolt 3 and an Ice Shield to cap it off there.
Good game with Jack. That is, it was close, and it's gonna finish, a few seconds ahead of Jack. So that was a nail biter at the end.
Yeah, definitely. And if everybody wants to stick around here, we will try to get our racers in for interviews here afterwards. Let's see what the final time was. 1:40.17 for our winner here. And we do have a Jack standing by here in 1 second. We're just waiting for Jax to finish. Jax is finished just now.
Looks like we have Jack here.
Yep.
Jack, good game.
I won.
How are you feeling there?
I got a good buzz going on, playing some FF6. It's good times,
Yeah. So, what were your thoughts about these new flags?
I don't know offhand. I was just kind of busy playing the game and stuff. So, I'll have to think about that a bit. Ask me something else for now.
Well,
let's. Oh, go ahead.
Well, here's what's interesting. You went to into the tower as normal, but Jax did do the shortcut, did the extra character Esper to dragon things, and literally caught up with you while you were in the middle of doing the vines. So he basically did the little extra work and jumped in right with you.
What do you mean vines?
The tentacles.
Tentacles. Sorry.
Oh, okay.
I call them vines.
I went to the bathroom during that fight.
Oh, jeez.
They grabbed Sally's and I'm like, I got time to take a bio break here, so
Yeah, so you entered the tower 10 minutes before Jack, and you were 1 tier ahead of Jack when he entered Final Kefka, and you guys finished tier 2 at the exact same time. He managed to catch up with the skip and with Bum Rush, and you pulled it out a little bit quicker on tier 3. He stumbled a little bit more, and that was the difference maker. But it went back and forth between you two at the end, despite you getting to the tower 10 minutes quicker than anyone else.
Well, Doomgaze was a big time sink for me. I think that was like a 7 or 8 minute fight. after I, reset and gave Sabin some gear, it's like, oh great, this is like the worst possible boss for my solo Gao. So that certainly didn't help me there. That's probably a good spot where a lot of people caught up based on what you're saying, but final battle was pretty straightforward for me. I mean, I had both the ladies, had some Mertens. Terra had throw, which is just ridiculously powerful.
Best ability, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, it is one of the best abilities in the game. For this randomizer,
Yeah,
at least.
and if you run into as many statues as you do, you're gonna have those big beefy weapons to throw, and they're gonna basically hit the damage cap, unless you're a little underleveled like I was. I think I was like high 30s whenever I finished. Like I did fight the one dragon in Narshe because I looked at my levels and I'm like, mid 30s. Also, would kind of like to learn that Merton times 7 on Selly since I have 4 ice shields. So
Did so walk us through the Phantom Train. You jumped in there early, and even though it was an Esper, you noped out, but came back later. What was your thought at the time when you first went in there?
Oh, well, that's simple. I'm still looking for characters at that point, and it's like, okay, I know this is an Esper. I don't have to commit to it because I might find Espers before I find my other characters.
Mm-hmm.
But then once I hit 6 characters, it's like, okay, I know there's an Esper there, so I can just go back and get it. It's, I don't know, like 15 seconds to go into the forest and see what the reward is. So, it's just kind of like peeking ahead for the future. If it was a character, I would have straight up finished it the first time through, but it wasn't. So it was just like, I'll come back for it.
Were you trying to do the shortcut after a bit, or were you just dead set on just doing like normal mode like we have been?
Shortcut?
Okay.
You mean the like skip part of
the skip thing, yeah. Sometimes shortcuts are long cuts.
Well, yeah. The only way I would have done that under the current requirements is if I hit 7 characters before I found the requisite amount of Espers. So if I hit 7 characters, it's like, well, okay, it's only one more Esper to skip that little bit of Kefka's Tower. That was me kind of like pocketing the Phantom Train there. It's like, if I find character 7, then, well, this will be Esper 10, or if I don't, it'll be Esper 9. So that's pretty much it. I mean, I did it 8th instead because it's like, well, at this point I know I just need Esper, so I might as well just grab it. And then I went to Narshe to do the Tritok spot because it can't be a character.
Right. Yeah, we saw that right at the end. Like, everybody was going for the Tritok, or a couple of people actually did Kefka right at the end before getting into the tower here.
You mean like Kefka at Narshe?
Yeah, like we had one of our runners do Kefka at Narshe before jumping in the tower, try to see if there was an Esper, another character that you could grab.
Okay. Yeah, I guess I could see it. I don't know if there was any different character paths. Like, maybe if someone did Magitech much earlier than I did, and, wasn't even considering warping out, you'd find a character and that would completely change how you get through the seed or something, for example. But, I don't know. The way it went for me was pretty good there. I mean, it took me a little while to find Sabin for my 4th character, but then I found Terra right away, and she had throw and net magic, and I'm like, okay, well, I've got a winner here, like even more than usual, and
80 million checks all of a sudden.
It was pretty easy from there. I mean, Doomgaze was a nasty surprise, but other than that, it was a pretty straightforward seed. Now that I've had a minute to think about it, some of the new settings are interesting. Like, I don't exactly know how all the new scaling options and stuff work, but it definitely seemed like bosses, their levels were scaled like what you're used to, but they all seem to have way more hit points than I'm used to seeing.
Yeah, so bosses were set to party average scaling, and one thing we were wondering if we were going to see from people was manipulation of that. Taking in a dead 4th character at low level to get the HP of all the bosses lower, for an example. But that's how they were scaled differently, whereas everything else was some variation of progress.
This was my first time even playing with the new version of the rando. I mean, I was asking like, so what's this Kefka's Tower skip, and what's this like no free lunch thing in the Discord, like as we were starting up the race, and as I was restarting my computer because Windows decided to have an aneurysm like 10 minutes before the start of the race time, so it's probably my fault we didn't start quite on time tonight, but
no one noticed.
I don't know. It was yeah, like there was absolutely no like trying to like metagame the scaling on my part. It was just, it's like, I don't know how this works. I'm just gonna do what I normally do, get good spells or weapons, or in this case, find throw and just wreck everything that gets in your way.
Well, the tried and true definitely worked out for you. Sticking to what you know and the basics, and it was solid. You obviously scored the win because of it.
Yeah. Yeah, so we still have some other humans that are playing this race, so I'm gonna.
Yeah.
I think I'm allowed to cut my stream now, so I'm gonna do that.
Yeah.
We've all seen this ending before.
Anything else you want to add?
Well,
There we go.
I mean, there's a thing I usually like to add, but God damn it, New York, you played hockey better.
But
oh boy!
No. That said, I'm throwing myself behind my 1B team, so let's go Knights.
Vegas, right?
Vegas Golden Knights, absolutely. I mean, okay, anyone who watched the game last night, that was kind of a disaster, but I was saying the whole season long, for anyone who's paying attention, whoever comes out of that division between Vegas and Colorado is going to win the Cup, and Vegas beat Colorado, so minor setback aside last night, they're going to spank Montreal in the next few games, and they're going to win the Cup. So there you go. You heard it here first.
Well, thank you everyone for joining our NHL podcast.
Nice intermission there.
Giving Jack a little bit of a hard time.
All right. Get Zelfer in here. You heard enough from me. Have a great night, folks.
All right. Yep. All right. Congrats, Jack, on
Congrats,
the great
Jack.
run.
Good game. All right. I see Zelfer's in the waiting room. I'm trying to get a hold of Jack, though. He might have stepped away. I sent him a message, so...
Well, Jack's still running, though, so...
Well,
wait, no. We swapped screens there. My bad.
Yeah. Let's pull Zelfer in until we hear from Jack, and we'll start the interview with him. So let's see if I can figure out how to add him. There we go. Zelfer, you there?
I am here. Hello.
Hey, good game. GG.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. So, what were your thoughts on hold on, the restream's all messed up for a second. So, what were your thoughts on the race and everything?
It was a lot of fun. It's really interesting because there's so many options enabled that weren't available in like the past versions of this randomizer, and it makes it interesting because I can't super predict everything anymore. But it was a lot of fun. I had a good time, and there was definitely a couple challenges thrown in there too.
Well, one thing you didn't know, because I didn't know this till about 5 seconds ago, is everyone thought you were Jex the entire time because your names were swapped in the restream.
Oh!
Yeah, it just got swapped back now, so we were all rooting for Jex, and we're unaware of what your actual progress was. So give me a second to rearrange my notes because of that. But tell us about the skip. That was
Because you're the only one that successfully did it, actually.
So far, yes.
So far.
Wow. Alrighty. Well, so I did the skip because after you play enough of these seeds, whenever you unlock a character, you do their checks, and you don't see them every time, but you always see Kefka's Tower. And so I was more than happy to skip walking through the tower, just because you can skip walking through the tower, something you do every single time. So I had a lot of fun with that. But as far as the race perspective goes, usually they have higher requirements. So if you go in through the skip, well, you get to skip walking, and you skip the whoever Inferno was this particular time. But you also go in higher leveled. You go in with a little more strength, and it's just, I guess it's a little bit of a safer route, I guess you could say, depending on how the requirements go. So that was really nice, and I enjoyed that a lot.
Well, it made it for a nail biter for us audience because you went to the tower 10 minutes after Jack did, and because of how the statue bosses were, it went back and forth for a bit. Jack was one tier ahead of you with you going into Final Kefka, and you both ended tier 2 at almost the exact same frame.
I was gonna say, good for you. It was good for all of us
I
here
know.
watching you guys go neck and neck. It was amazing.
It was an amazing comeback, and you just, I looked like you had slightly worse luck on tier 3. That was the deal, what made the difference there. But yeah, so when did you decide you were going for the skip? Was it, when you got up that 7th character?
So in the very beginning of the race, I looked at the requirements, saw 7-10-2 wasn't too much different from 6-9, and decided, yeah, I think I'm gonna go for the skip.
Oh, it was a conscious decision from the beginning.
Oh yeah, from the beginning, I was like, yeah, I'm gonna try to go for the skip if I can, unless something really bad happens, or if I really can't find something, never mind. But no, I saw that and I was like, yeah, I'm gonna go for it.
So,
Yeah, we saw that when you were getting into there, you had the 7th character, and you just pulled into the Magitech facility, and you got the 9th one. You got the 10th Esper, and that just carved your path right straight to catch up right behind Jack, and that was amazing.
I'm really glad it turned out to be such a good show, because I had no idea how anything was going. I just want to skip because I like to skip, yay! And I'm glad it turned out that way.
tell us how you're feeling during the goddess fight, though.
Yeah.
That must have been frustrating.
You know what? I was looking for Espers at that point. Pambaba was like, I have Phoenix, sure. Okay, I'll take Phoenix. And yeah, as soon as I saw it goddess, I was like, oh no, this is gonna be a disaster. And I fought it anyway, because sometimes you get lucky and sometimes you get through, and I did not get lucky today. So yeah, as soon as I saw goddess, I knew if this is gonna be really bad, I'm probably not getting through it. I'm just gonna try. And yeah, as soon as that ended, I was like, nope, going somewhere else, don't care.
Did you ever think about heading back there when you need your last Esper or 2? Because I believe you were at 6 or 7 when you first went to Penumbra.
So normally, I am the type of person to go over and get revenge just because I can. But in this particular case, when you do what's the flag called? Like no free lunch or no free progression, that means all the dead checks are forced into certain locations, and there's only one floating dead check around in all the other normal spots. And I found that dead check in the ancient castle.
Right.
That statue gave me a Pearl Lance. So I knew Tritok would give me an Esper. I knew the first 2 in Magitech would give me Espers. So I knew I had 1, 2, 3 lined up. So I didn't need to go back or be tempted. Not this particular time, anyway.
And as we're talking here, Sid's like, everything must burn. Everybody, and he has all 4 of his characters using burn right now.
So, walk us through the. You kind of did some resetting, re-strategizing for Tentacles and Doomgaze with some of your relics, including a wall ring that seemed to have lived on into the final Kefka fight. Were you aware that Edgar still had a wall ring on during the final fight?
Nope, that was a complete mistake. You never want wall ring on in the final battle. Do not do that. It did not work out well. Caused me lots of problems. Wall ring's good for Doomgaze to reflect Doom. You can also use a safety bit or a relic ring or a memento ring or whatever, but I just used the wall ring. Great for Doomgaze, not great for the final fight. Do not do what I did today.
But it was a good call though to know when to cut your losses on those bosses and come back with a better equipment setup now that you were able to peak them. Is that something you normally keep in mind with like Kefka's Tower? Knowing when to reset out and try again?
I really do my best not to do that if I can help it, just because usually takes a lot of time. We didn't see it today, but that is another benefit to unlocking the statue thing. If you need to reset and regroup, you get to join back right where the statues are. So
That's true.
That's not as big of a penalty as it normally is. But I still don't like to do it, so I was stubborn today.
Now, interesting question though is that you finished 1 minute and 10 seconds behind. Do you think just doing the little extra step and getting the bum rush do you think it was still worth it though?
Oh, that's a good question. I mean, whenever I can, I get bum rush.
I mean, you were doing quad 9s with bum rush, so it wasn't like you weren't doing much damage with it.
Oh, I get bum rush because I normally never see it, and I just like to use it. So that's why I got bum rush. And bum rush did help a lot, but Edgar wasn't doing too much, and I probably could have gotten by, to be honest. If I didn't stop to get bum rush, maybe. I could have made Edgar summon Golem, throw items, and that kind of thing. Terra could have thrown things, and I would have been fine there. Merton was up. Gao was doing good with Atma weapon, so that might have done it, to be honest. But I like Bum Rush a lot, so I'm not giving it up.
Yeah, your crew was definitely dealing more damage than Jax was. Like going into those final battles, that's how you were catching up, like considerably quickly. Besides doing the extra character Esper 2 extra dragons, you were actually pumping out more damage than any of the other racers were at the time.
Yeah. Jack and I have a little bit of a different strategy when we approach these seeds. Jack likes to just rush for it, and he'll usually fly through, and usually the final battles are a little bit longer for him because he's just flying through. And I like to sit back and go a little slower in the beginning and get my power, and then I just cruise through the entire thing. And my hope is that I catch up by the end to make up for it. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But that's just how I like to roll, personally.
I appreciate that. It seemed like a good portion of your strategy was I want to have fun, and that definitely it looked like it was a lot of fun. It looked like it was very entertaining, and I don't know, that's a great motivation when playing.
I'm glad it was very entertaining because I just play these things and I'm just like, well, I have no idea how this is gonna look, but I'm just gonna go along and do my thing, and I'm glad it turned out entertaining and close, and now I can't wait to look at this VOD now because this sounds like it's gonna be an interesting one.
It was incredibly entertaining. It was a definite great example of this new 0.92 patch that we have to have this option available for our racers. And we want to thank you for actually taking that also as well.
I think that the Kefka's Tower skip is something we're, as a community, still playing around with a lot, and I think you really showcase some of the power it has in races, and that was very important. So that's awesome. Thank you for that.
Oh, no problem at all. Anytime you want something to showcase like a Kefka Tower skip, I'll just cruise on by.
Alrighty, thank you, Zephyr.
Anything else you want to add?
Game.
No, I think I'm good actually. Thank you very much. I'm gonna get out of the way so you guys can invite Jack Sprock in so you can do an interview with him.
Yeah. Well, good game again, and thank you for playing.
No problem. Take care, guys.
Thank you.
All right, so let's get Jex in here. Let me move him over. And Jex, are you there?
Yes, I am.
Hey, GG.
Hey.
So, what were your thoughts on the new flags in the race?
The new flags, I've been getting myself familiar with them. As for this flag set, that's a different story. mid-game, I knew was going to be a little on the tougher side because I tried this flag set earlier and just got whipped by it, but at least I knew what I was getting myself into.
Yeah.
So the second time around, I did significantly better than my trial run.
Did you make any adjustments for the higher HP of bosses in the middle of the game?
Not really. I mean, like, Celeste was my block character. Well, everyone else had a purpose. Because Gao was the only one I could equip the Atma weapons.
That's true.
So I'm just like, I'm gonna hit a monster in a box, and I'm going to attempt to find an offering to go with it. And thankfully, Shadow's freebie check gave me what I was looking for. Because otherwise, I would have just gone into KT, just single swinging that Atma weapon.
Now we see that you were one character short for doing that alternate route on this flag set, which is doing that kind of shortcut to get to the statues faster. Were you
I was
trying to get that?
No, I was
Okay.
not. I believe I was all one Esper short as well, or was the Esper count 8?
Well, you had 10 Espers, it looks like, and
Did
it
I?
was
Yep.
according to the tracker at least. It says you ended with 10.
Yeah, according to the tracker, you were one character short for doing the shortcut. You had the Espers and you had the dragons. You actually had 3 dragons instead too, but
Yeah,
I think you get the third dragon after Kefka actually. So
I grabbed that for extra levels.
Yeah.
That's the only reason why I did the dragon fights, was because I wanted the levels. So, especially the initial 2 dragon fights, so I could have Edgar running around with Bum Rush.
Yeah, do you typically pick Bum Rush up? Like, what was your thought process in grabbing that?
As soon as I saw Edgar had Bum Rush, I'm like, yeah, I'm going for that regardless. I'm gonna do a couple of extra checks where it comes with grind fights and do the dragon fights to make sure I get the levels so I can go grab Bum Rush. That was the plan. Plus, he was rocking double earrings to boost magic power and all that fun stuff. So for tier 2, that also, just having the extra levels just does bonus damage. But having the double earrings plus all the magic power that he ended up with, Airblade was a monster on tier 2.
Saw that. You don't normally see Aeroblade, used too
Yeah.
often, but that was used to good effect there.
Yes, because if I was just doing Bum Rush, I'm only doing 10,000 damage, while Airblade, I'm hitting multiple targets for, even if they're doing 4,000 damage apiece to 3 targets, that's still doing 12,000 damage as opposed to 10,000.
And you're not hitting the wrong target, right? Because if you mute magic and then you end up bum rushing magic, it does no one any good. In fact, you might end up with 10 hits being the last attack. So you control your destiny a little bit more with an Airblade.
Correct. I wish I was able to really utilize Merton strats a little bit better, but it wasn't the case. Celeste was just busy keeping everybody alive.
Mm-hmm. We saw you went to Kefka at Narsh a little bit later. That's typically a check you see a bit more at the beginning when we think it's a progress blocker. What was your rationale about heading up there and doing that so late in the seed?
or not just hitting up there, but actually fighting the extra soldiers going through too.
The extra, I wanted the extra grind fights.
Was that for the Bum Rush level?
Yep.
Okay.
That would be correct.
Alright.
And plus, I just did the Welk check. I'm already there. Let's go do it.
It is true. You were already there. Were you ready to reset out if it? I guess you wouldn't have known if it was an Esper or not until afterwards.
Yeah, more or less. That was a risk. That was definitely a risk. But with the no freebie progression, as far as I know, it's going to increase my chances on non-freebie checks where I'm risking an Esper, going in blind. I don't know what the statistics are on it in regards to how the randomizer works for it, but in my head, that's how it works. My chances are higher getting an Esper for a fight like that.
No, and that's completely right. I think we had done the math wrong with the no free lunch checks and thought it was a bit more of a risk than it was, in practice. How did the no free lunches factor in with some of your routing, especially early, since it's so different with both items and not factoring into progress?
Well, with having freebie checks, especially early game, or the no free lunches, I'm still going to hit them up because I was able to route it in. Like South Figaro Castle, that's 5 checks. I have Edgar, so shops are going to be half price, so I can do some shopping there. The check is right there. I'm going to go get it. It could be, a good piece of armor. It could be a great weapon. Same thing with the Celeste check. Did that in South Figaro. It's on the way, and that's a high density area of treasure chests to pick up.
Right.
So you're better off routing it in. Shadows check. That's a quick one-off, and that got me my offering.
And totally worth it. I mean, 15 seconds out of the way for something that game-changing. That's what you want out of your free lunch checks.
And when I hit Zen right at the very end, my thought process is, I'm an idiot. I forgot I had Sabin.
Yeah, we were wondering that a little bit, but it still ended up working out for you and everything.
Yeah, my initial thought was going to go to Zen, buy the Esper dude and do a quick shop check, refill my throw weapons, which didn't happen. I was a little unhappy about that, but I ended up with the behemoth suit, which I needed. I needed better physical damage or physical defense for Terra, and behemoth suit fit the bill.
Yeah, I mean, it's a solid armor. Its only drawback is who is limited to equipping it, because in vanilla it's only 2 people, and a lot of times you find that you can't even do anything with it. So getting that on someone as important as Terra is a huge win.
Yeah, and the other really nice thing for accidentally being an idiot running into Zen at the end there was blindly picking up that snow muffler at the last second. I was just like, ooh, hello.
Especially for tier 1 Kefka, it's suddenly that in 10 hits is not going to bother you at all.
Yep. Terra wasn't obviously afraid of getting smacked around a little bit because, she had 7,000 hit points maximum.
We noticed that she was going to live, through a nuclear apocalypse. Pretty much a cockroach in your group with that HP and that armor.
I was half tempted to throw a merit award on her so she could rock the Atma weapon.
I was thinking that as well when I saw her HP, and it kind of dawned on me. I was like, that is a real possibility, especially because Saberwolf here noticed that there was 3 merit awards that kept popping up throughout the run.
I think I only found 1.
Yeah, I've looked through there was at least 2. I know that.
Yeah, there was at least 2 different merit awards within the world before going to the Keftic style that we saw on one person's stream.
Gotcha.
And actually, Sid is actually demoing it right now with having Atma weapon on Sabin with 7,000 HP right now.
Oh, yep.
So a great showcase.
Did Sid find the offering?
I
didn't see it.
I don't know.
I can tell you in a second.
But we will. But I will say that the offering was actually.
Yes, he did.
Zell not having the offering was hitting harder with Gal than Jack was with the offering, and they were neck and neck. Zell did do the shortcut to get straight to the statues, and they went into, was it the second or third tier, tied.
Yeah. It was extremely close.
Yeah, he entered the tower 10 minutes late. He did the extra character Esper 2 dragons, and going into the third part, they were tied.
That's cool.
So yeah, it was very cool on our end watching him go neck and neck.
Even
It
though
was
you
amazing
thought
to
you
talk about
guys
that.
were rooting for me.
Well, you know,
Yes, we kept thinking it was you literally until after. I didn't know until we brought Zelfer into the room. Then that's when I swapped the restream. So we thought you were coming back.
But hey, as long as it was a good show and all that fun stuff.
Yeah, I highly
Oh,
recommend
it was
going
a
back and
great
watching
show.
the VOD if you get a chance. It was really fun.
yeah, it definitely, the definitely new feature from 9.1 doing an extra little bit to cut into further in KT definitely made it this interesting.
Yeah, speaking of, Jack, what would you say of all the new flags? Because we have a lot of new toys to play with. What has been your favorite flag that's been introduced in the last patch?
Ooh. I can't say there's one specific flag, but it's having more options. Especially with like down the battle tree for the flags, I can tweak things much more pinpoint in what I'm looking to get for a seed. Like I can have level being progression times 3, while hit points is party average times 1.5.
Right, and that was what today's flags were.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So being able to do combinations like that, I definitely enjoy. Plus, I also like having the what is it? I haven't done too many of them. No revives.
Yeah, the permadeath or permadeath
Yep.
equivalent.
Yeah, I would like to see a no save flag get thrown in
Oof.
there eventually.
I would too. Boo's been doing that on the honor system with a few races even before the permadeath was officially added, and they can be a lot of fun and a huge challenge, and that would be a cool flag to see.
Oh, the permadeath stuff can get ugly, for sure. Especially with like there was a brief period of time Rolling Runner's Choice was running on version 0.92, and permadeath just made things awful.
It was the 1 week I did it, and it made it very frustrating to have that on.
Oh yeah, in combination with all the other flags.
Yeah, it's definitely a fun event for not related to the community race, the runner's choice for people. People in chat, check out our Discord. Jack runs it every week, and it is another one of the many fun community events that we do.
Yep, Rolling Runner's Choice is enter the race, change a flag, and the old one closes out tomorrow, and I open up a new room, which I rolled a seed on Monday evening, East Coast time. Monday evening around 8 p.m. If anybody is interested in joining that insanity.
And
Sanity
believe
it
the
is.
oh, you're talking about the players.
Yeah, the Rolling Runner's Choice. But so what did Zelfer end up doing that was different from my routing choice?
He had pretty much the similar. He just picked up the only difference really was he picked up the Strago, which was in Cave in the Veldet after the Shadow Check. And that was the 7th character.
Oh.
And he also did the Bum Rush too before going into Kefka. And go ahead.
You did Magic 3, right, Jack?
Yeah, I did MTech 3.
Yeah,
which was an Esper.
Yep, and he did MTech at the end, got the first 2, and then bailed out and went straight to Kefka's Tower.
Yeah,
that was his 9th and 10th.
Yeah, that was the big thing. He was up a character and did Magitech at the end, and was able to, get that extra Esper and do the skip. It would probably have not worked if it was any other series of checks. I would imagine.
Yeah, Guardian running into Guardian during the cart ride. I'm just like, oh no,
so much HP.
This is not good.
Yeah, the Goddess Wall, the Guardian Wall at the end of these bit of treks, because you have to get Pumbo before you get there.
Where was
So-
Goddess?
Goddess was on
Bulbous.
Pumbaba, actually, after
Yeah.
he sneezed you, so you only had 2 characters to
I
fight
am
Goddess.
so glad I skipped that.
I don't think anybody beat her, actually. I think everybody
No.
just kind of bailed.
Yeah, I think Sid and Zelf are the only ones who actually ran into her, and they both bailed out. But you also had an early Yeti to deal with, which, while not hard, was a long time. He has a lot of HP at this scaling setting.
Yeah, you thought it looked
yeah,
like you were
run-
talking about it. It was like, nah, I'm not gonna go, but I'm just gonna leave. And I saw Phoenix. You saw the Phoenix, and you're like, no.
Yeah, I'm just like, I need characters right now, not espers. If I need espers later on, I can go back. I know it's there. That was my thought process on that one. Same thing with Phantom Train. If I needed an esper, I could swing over and grab that in a last ditch effort.
Always good to have those options.
I was harping on this the entire stream. Almost all the tools for the imp was there. I'm
Imp
just
strats.
saying. The imp strat was there. You had the jump. You had all the items. I don't know about the armor, though.
I
But it was there.
had. I didn't have anything for imp.
Oh, okay. I saw.
Yeah.
Oh, were you the? Oh, you must have been the one that didn't. Yeah, everybody else got the weapon, the helmet, and the shield. They all got turned into imps at one point.
Well, anyways, thank you for the restream.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get moving. Yeah, give a like and follow to the to all the racers for anybody that's watching, and thanks for tuning in.
Yeah.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks for racing. This was it was very entertaining. So GG again.
GG's.
All right. So our series of interviews are done. Just in time to watch Sid stomp
Just
Kefka
Merton
here.
spam. Yeah.
Yeah. The being 2 hours and 20 minutes in, one of the advantages is typically higher levels, and you can see that with the HP and just everyone murdering all day every day here.
Oh.
One of the interesting things I think about this flag set, especially this race in particular, is with the no free lunches having guaranteed top tier items in places and the incentive of dragons for Kefka's Tower Kefka's Tower skip. I think you're seeing a lot more fun combinations of items that you get to play around a lot more with offerings and flame shields and Minervas and stuff like that you might skip over those in a normal environment.
Yeah, I mean, like some of the flags we were throwing out there over the past few months was like, yeah, there are 2 dragons out there before you can beat Kefka. Well, you can just do the 2 dragons inside the tower. Now you have to do. Now we're asking, so how about you do the 2 dragons before you get to the tower, and we'll reward you with this. So I think it really does open up a lot more avenues to go, and a lot more items, and a lot of what we've been talking about the last couple of weeks is like opening up the map more, like we did with the bingo the other night. Like we had people going to the island to get fish,
Right.
for a bingo card. It's
Or-
just trying to bring in some of these other areas of the game that you would normally go through in vanilla, but adding them back into this randomizer. That's
And
in
it's-
some way.
And that's something we've been kicking around a lot as a community. We've talked about having the thief in Fanatics Tower tell you something. We've talked about something in Tizen telling you what's in Phoenix Cave, or Emperor Cazel's portrait telling you what's in Phoenix Cave. We've kicked around a lot more to kind of expand upon the world a little bit and get people to check out different things that might not necessarily be checks, but are still beneficial, and factor more elements of the vanilla game in. So it looks like Sid is on tier 3 now.
Yep, and he's just doing the whole Merton train.
Well, right
Well, you
now,
slow
it's-
down a little bit down because you don't want to kill sleep first. So
yeah, and it looks like struggling a little bit with sleep. Sleep can be tough with her Pearl Wind. You got to get her below 50% HP in order for her not to fully heal. But I think with a few Shurikens, he should be able to power through her in the next turn or so.
And Celeste has the X magic with a double cure 3, so
Yeah,
not really worried about running out of health right now.
no, it's just a matter of time. I think that should be enough to knock out
Yeah.
Sleep.
Yep,
One-
there it is, because you can see it on the alt select there.
Right. It's
So
commentators.
Pearl's down.
We have audio muted, and that's the only way to tell when something in the final fight is dead until you can see the targeting again. So it can be a little rough sometimes, but
Yep, here comes the golem. Before
Right.
you get to the man, I forgot what's called. I'm tired. Sorry.
hopefully with the gem box here with X Magic, you might be able to skip the final part of Sleep, but it looks like not going to do enough. If you can do over 10,000 in one go, you might be able to get it to get past it. But I think you're gonna have
Yeah,
to
I
deal
don't think
with it.
Celeste's magic power is up that high, or she doesn't have the earrings because I actually
Oh.
have 2. Okay, so
Edgar has
there's
X
2.
Magic too. Yeah.
Yeah, well, there was a gem box in the Coliseum that was available.
Oh.
That was actually one of the marked ones.
Okay.
So everybody. He might have everybody have gem box. No, I guess not. Just Edgar and Celeste. It looks like. Here comes Trine,
But
which
now
unfortunately mutes everybody.
yep. We're in that bad phase. Sleep can be a real jerk, countering with Trine, casting Meteo, can do a lot of damage, and there are no mass status heals. So getting people unmuted in order to make an offense and heal and deal with the next train that comes through, it can be rough. It's definitely one of the harder things in the game.
There are mass heals. They're just really hidden. Like, well, he gets them anyways. But
Unicorn
there's a
or
slot. Yeah, Logomorph. Yeah. Which actually is available, I think. On no, who had the slot?
I think that was Sabin that spot.
No, yeah,
one
Samus.
that's-
It was available.
No,
so-
it was one of the starting characters, so it must have been. I think it was.
Oh yeah.
Celeste. But he got through that pretty easily. Even with the train, he managed to power right on through, and now we're at the finish line here. This should be no problem for Shadow Sid.
Going back. I know we're going back and repeating ourselves, but do you like Gao with the fight availability?
I think it's interesting. I need to play with it a bit more. I think it's one of those things where the times that you get screwed over by Gao not having fight, such as the ladder practice seed, or Gao not having fight means he actually can't be used in Fnatic's tower. He does not get the magic command due to how the programming works. People sometimes, they'll remember those cases where they got kind of screwed over by it. I think it's ultimately for the best that, like him having fight, because there's very few abilities that you want both of them on. Like, abilities are typically not that great outside of a few. So unless you get like a throw morph Gao, there's not really any combination that is like so insane it's worth giving up a fight for.
Sid definitely working those counters with the Mega Elixir off the fallen one, get everybody back up again, and actually jumped in before Celeste had the Merton. But didn't matter because everybody's protected against it.
Yeah, and this should probably throw Kefka right into the final phase. The screen shaking, and this should be over easily in a minute for Sid.
Yeah, double quad 9s out of Edgar. And I think Terra's right up there with them. Nope, only half as much.
But it's enough.
Yeah. I think he's going to be able to burn him down before he gets to the Goner there.
Yeah, it's looking like
And-
it.
And with this much HP, I really don't think it's going to be much of a Goner situation anyway. So
Even if it is, you just power on through. Goner's going to do, 1,500 max, to him. It's pretty much just a sneeze. You can just wipe it off.
so as soon as Edgar, so there's Edgar. That should cap it off.
And well deserved too. Merchant is extremely powerful, but you have to work hard to get it to work for you. And all of our runners being able to take advantage of their knowledge of different armors to do that is Merchant's a great reward for that kind of game knowledge, and it obviously paid off for Shadow Sid here.
I just remembered something. Let's go all the way back to the beginning. Jack gave him a head start and still won.
Zelfer.
We never said that.
Jack. Yeah,
yeah, Jack
you're right.
gave him a head start and still won anyways.
He was being gentlemanly. Due to technical difficulties, I believe I don't know what the timer was on his side, but I believe that still puts him a little bit ahead. But But it was still a lot of fun for us, and that is it for our last runner.
Yep.
I'm actually not in the race room. Are there any offline runners still running it?
These were the only ones that were running it, so
Okay.
I believe.
Cool. Well, let's
Yep, he was there was only these four. These are the only
Okay.
four that were doing it.
All right. Well, looks like Sid is in the waiting room, so let's bring him in.
Alrighty.
Hey there, Sid. GG.
Thank you.
Hey. So how are you feeling after all that?
So that was a seed.
Did you look at the scaling beforehand? Was that
I had actually had a little screenshot of it up in the corner just to remind me. I was planning on renaming Sabin to Wild Bear if I ever got the chance.
We saw a lot of Wild Bear from you.
Wild.
He was doing a lot of work with that early healing there.
Wombat was the #1 skill in that list.
It's true, and it's very powerful too.
Yeah.
If you get it.
That was a very rapid wombat.
And then I'm like, go to Captain's Tower, Poltergeist, whatever. Merton's not gonna work on him. Just hop out, get the other stuff to skip him, no problem.
Yeah, that is definitely smart. There's a lot of fun things you can do with the skip, and that was definitely one of them. Of if you just don't think you have the offense to take out someone like him, it sounds like it was a lot faster for you to go get a few more requirements and not deal with that headache.
Yeah, just the problem I ran into afterwards was everything else was also absorbing Merton. Everything.
Yeah.
Yep.
And
the Narapa was, and
but then you had Doomgaze who didn't, and
Yeah.
he was able to go down quick because of it.
And the
So-
tentacles.
So for having done both, going in normal and going in with the extra path, which do you feel might have worked out better, in the long run?
Normally on this one I would have said based on the requirements, just the normal, without doing the skip. Because I've been doing the dev flags with Terra's that she's been making, and I believe it's Terra, and doing all the dragon skips.
Because the interesting thing is for us, was from our end, because we were watching all of you, is that Jack went in normal 10 minutes ahead of Zelfer, who went in, again, 10 minutes late, but had the alternate path to get into the statues immediately, and ended up going into tier 3 at the exact same time.
Oh wow, yeah. So I think it's 5-6 minutes saved. But you have to do
Yeah, it
4 more
was very
trips.
exciting on our end.
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna go back and rewatch the VOD because I'd like to see how it was handled without just hitting a brick wall of Merton.
So, what was I about to ask with it? So, what was
how do
your
you feel about?
strategy-
Sorry, I had to ask this. How do you feel
Oh,
about the Pun Bubba and the Goddess?
That was the worst 2 characters that they could have picked, huh?
Yep.
On that one.
Yeah.
And Goddess wasn't too bad. I mean, again, fall back to Merton strategies, and I wasn't afraid of Celeste ever really killing. I think it was Sabin on the other side of that.
Yeah,
It
you were
was just-
ping-ponging Goddess between the two of them.
Yeah, it was just delay in time. It was just the Famaba one was definitely oh yeah, of course those were the 2 you want to get. Whatever.
what was your strategy going in with the scaling? Because that was one of the biggest. Well, it's one of the biggest changes with the new flags is the flexibility with scaling. And I know, like as commentators, we had to go over it a lot beforehand because it is a little, confusing. Did you have any different approach to the early and mid game with that in mind?
I kind of treated the 2.5 progression just the same I would as the 3 and try and get some early fights in to stay ahead of the curve.
Mm-hmm.
The HP party average didn't seem to affect me too much except for maybe the first 2 bosses. I did scan here and there just to see like, hey, what's your HP at?
Which I think for stuff like Guardian was definitely worth it. You got that Guardian kind of early, and he's beefy, but you want to know, how the fight's going. And I believe you use scan on that fight.
Yeah, I think so too.
I have another question. Now I'm totally blinking on it.
I got a lot of characters in a row towards the end. That was fun.
Yeah,
That
you
is,
did.
that is
You
true.
got almost got the whole band.
Got what else? Was it 9 of them?
Yeah, I believe so. Because I was missing, I think, Realm and Mog and
1, 2, 3, 4, 5,
Setzer,
6.
maybe?
Yeah.
Genlock.
It's making the
I got
airship
everybody
all
else.
nice and roomy. So what's your thoughts on these new flags? Like, which ones do you really like? Which ones do you think have potential? We are obviously just trying out a whole cornucopia of different ones here to kind of show them off and get them in people's collective consciousness. Like, what are your thoughts on them?
I very much like the statue skip, specifically with dragons, without increasing characters or match set requirements. I feel like that's a little more close. Maybe like 3 or 4 dragons.
Yeah, I think that's
level
a
progression's
balance that
nice.
we're trying to strike that can be really interesting.
I hadn't played with the party highest EXP before, and so that was kind of interesting. No Illuminas is fine, You're gonna get Ragnaroks or Valiant Knives or whatever through the whole thing. I do really like starting with 5 Warpstones, even though I didn't really use a whole lot of them on this one.
I think that's a great quality of life addition, and I like to see that in more races. Just one less thing to worry about.
And Gal with Fight didn't really come into play, but the thing that I would like to see in future flags that's very similar in that vein is being able to take away Fight from people, if that's ever a thing.
So you would have people be able to be like Gal, where they have 2 abilities.
Yep. So like, imagine giving Leap to everyone, and then you can do either a skills only run or a magic only run or some combination of that.
That's
Maybe
true.
breakable items.
Yeah, because generally when you get Gal, he does have fight. You hope he has like tools just for something basic to have on him. So it is an interesting take on that.
What are
Yeah.
your? Oh, go ahead.
Oh, sorry. That's just something in the future, maybe to see.
Yeah. What was your take on the no free lunches and the strategy with it? Because it kind of changes your routing a lot, especially late. You have a lot more guarantee espers, but also, potential power swings with, if you find certain items. Did that affect any of your routing at all?
Yeah. So I've played with that flag before, and on this one particularly, you started with Celeste, so I was gonna get hers, and then picking up Shadow, like that's a quick one. The free ones just seem the potential power spike for just a few seconds out of the way if you're going to be there anyway isn't too bad. I definitely wasn't going to like the auction house. Pazin was too rich for my blood, so I don't know what was there.
It's true. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
definitely interesting to see how that's going to shape different races. I think that's a fun one we can start throwing in.
Yeah, and the fact that you get a nice item, because I think the free lunch checks that I got on this one early on definitely pointed towards like ice shields and Merton and stuff like that, would shape my strategy.
Yeah.
How did you feel about the
Atma?
Atma? The Atma weapon changed there a little bit.
I threw it on the only character I think in my party that could make use of it, which was Saban. I tried to make sure he had the 100% HP up, so he just had a nice beefy HP pool.
No, you had to use the award on him, right? In order to do that, I believe.
He didn't need a merit award, but I think I did have one.
Okay.
And that's definitely not a relic you see too often, but it can end up with some wacky builds when you get the chance to use it.
Oh, for sure, yeah.
Well, that's about all I had. Was there anything else you want to add, or do you have any more thoughts on some of the new changes to Worlds Collide?
I mean, this pretty much hit most of them. That was really nice. I do miss experience eggs, but I think that flag's going to be on quite a bit.
Yeah.
'Cause that just breaks seeds open. No, it was a fun race. A little frustrating towards the end where it's like, hey, your main strategy is not going to be viable here. That's just RNG being RNG.
Randos being randos.
I had fun, and I hope everybody had fun watching it.
I think it was a great showcase. I think all of you guys really got to show off a lot of the cool things we're doing, and I know it made me excited to play with these flags even more than I have already. And I hope other people watching felt the same way.
Yeah, no, good games. Definitely had fun.
Yeah.
Thanks for the people
GG.
who followed me in the middle of the race. I forgot to turn my alerts off.
We didn't even notice that, but yeah, GG. It was a good race.
Yeah, GG.
Yep.
GG, Sid. Thank you.
I think that just doesn't, just about does it. That's all of our racers have finished. Thank you for joining for the new flag showcase. Pretty standard run compared to some of the other wacky stuff we've done the last few weeks, but hopefully everyone got a good idea of, I don't know, all the cool things that we now can do with Worlds Collide.
Yeah, and there's still, we hope there's still more to come. We still want to develop this thing to, like I said, touch those other areas of the game. There's still more potential to go, and I think this alone shows the great progression that's going on right now for this game.
Yeah, and yeah, I think it's going to be there's going to be a lot of fun stuff coming. I think people are getting more and more creative, and there are more and more events that we've been planning. From the ladder that was introduced last week to the rolling races that Jack does. These flags are just going to add more and more cool off the wall, runs and everything. So if you haven't, join the Discord. That's where we're coordinating a lot of this. There's some great people there. So check it out at ff6wc.com and follow all of our runners. They're all great runners. And if you're interested, follow their streams, and they'll love to help you out. That's how I learned, was just watching streams of people like Jack and everything.
Yep, and yeah, definitely be sure it's Jack and Miss Wedge, Jex Vrox, Shadow Sid, Zelfer85. Thank you guys for doing the runners and being your test pilots for this new patch that we got. We also want to thank Brianna, and of course Seto Kyber next to me. I'm Saberwolf. We also want to thank Ceiling Cat for helping us up with the streams, doing the background stuff. Thank you guys for following on with us for this amazing race that we had. Again, 1 minute 10 seconds was separated the top two racers in this. So great race today.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for everyone for watching, everyone for helping, everyone for racing. This was yet another fun Saturday.